2023-24 points of emphasis. Uniforms, equipment, and apparel. The NFHS regularly receives questions regarding the legality of uniforms, equipment, and apparel. It is imperative that not only officials understand the rules governing uniforms and equipment, but coaches and players as well. Uniform jerseys must comply with the rules listed in 3.4, 3.5, and 3.6. The rules are concise and clear regarding what is and is not permissible on the jersey. An NFHS basketball uniform guide was created to illustrate the proper uniform design graphically. That document and an animated presentation can be found on the NFHS website. Uniforms. A. Requests to make an exception to Rule 3.4 uniforms, for example, Pink Out Night, Retro Throwback Night, Military Appreciation Night, must be submitted to the State Association before the event for approval. Uniform requirements may not be altered by mutual agreement between schools or coaches. B. As has been the rule in the past, uniform bottoms do not have to match the torso of the uniform. However, with the adoption of Rule 3.4.5, uniform bottoms must be like-colored among teammates. To provide clarity, the following examples are provided. Teammates may wear multiple styles of uniform bottoms, which may include shorts, pants, or skirts. The color of the uniform bottoms are not required to be the same as the uniform top. However, the bottoms must be a consistent color among teammates. The bottom style may differ for every player, but the color must be the same. Example, A1 is wearing a white jersey and red shorts. A2 is wearing a white jersey and a red skirt. Legal, as long as the bottom is red for all 5 players. C. Rolling and or tucking of uniform bottoms is permissible as long as the compression tights or sleeves, if worn, are color compliant. Equipment and apparel. A. Undershirts, if worn, must adhere to the following. Home team shall be white, shall be hemmed, and shall not have frayed or ragged edges. If the undershirt has sleeves, they shall be the same length. Visiting team shall be a single, solid color similar to the torso of the jersey, or be solid black. The undershirt shall be hemmed and shall not have frayed or ragged edges. If the undershirt has sleeves, they shall be the same length. Team members may wear either a single solid color similar to the torso of the jersey or black, but not both. Example, Visitor B1 wears a purple jersey and a black undershirt. Visitor B2 is wearing a purple jersey and a purple undershirt. Illegal. Both undershirts are a legal color, however, teammates must wear the same color undershirt. This situation would be legal if all teammates wore a black undershirt or if all teammates wore a purple undershirt. B. Arm sleeves, knee sleeves, lower leg sleeves, compression shorts, and tights are permissible. Anything worn on the arm and or leg is a sleeve, except a knee brace, and shall meet the color restrictions. The sleeves or tights and compression shorts shall be black, white, beige, or the predominant color of the jersey, and the same color sleeves or tights shall be worn by teammates. All sleeves or tights and compression shorts shall be the same solid color, and shall be the same solid color as any headband or wristband worn. Coaches and school administrators must ensure that legal uniforms are being ordered and purchased from manufacturers and distributors. If in doubt, prior to purchasing uniforms, equipment, or apparel, confirm legality with the local state association. Bench decorum. The Rules Committee is concerned about bench decorum rule violations by coaches and bench personnel. Only through enforcing existing rules will coaches and bench personnel exhibit appropriate and acceptable behaviors. Coaches are expected to remain in the coaching box. The extension of the coaching box 6 years ago was intended to allow coaches to communicate with their players near the end line without violating the coaching box rule or creating a need to come onto the playing court. Coaches who go beyond the 28-foot line, or more importantly, onto the playing court, gain a distinct advantage which is not within the spirit and intent of the rules. Coaches are reminded that while the bench area expands during a timeout, the bench area does not extend beyond the 28-foot line. Coaches and other bench personnel may not move to the expanded bench area until the timeout begins to ensure bench personnel do not create inadvertent contact with opposing players still out on the playing court. Coaches who leave the expanded bench area to engage officials inappropriately are subject to a warning or a bench technical foul. Misconduct by players, coaches, and bench personnel is not permitted. There is continued support for officials to use all the tools at their disposal. These tools include promptly issuing an administrative warning for misconduct by coaches and bench personnel, or assessing a technical foul if warranted. Players taunting, baiting, finger-pointing, trash-talking, and using inappropriate gestures have increased during the past several seasons. Specifically, trendy hand gestures and body language meant to demean and single out opponents is not a reflection of good sporting behavior and has no place in the interscholastic setting. Players and coaches are permitted to celebrate an individual or team accomplishment, but they cannot direct that celebration toward their opponent. Also, players and coaches are not allowed to disrespectfully or inappropriately address and/or gesture an official after a ruling is made on the court. Player and coach behavior, which in the official's judgment is determined to be a taunt of an opponent or a disrespectful act toward an official, shall be penalized by assessing a technical foul. Assistant coaches are not authorized to approach the scorer's table at any time. The head coach is permitted to go to the scorer's table to request a 60-second timeout to confer with personnel regarding a correctable error or to prevent or rectify a timing or scoring mistake or error or an alternating possession mistake. Throw-ins, proper locations. Proper inbound spots contribute to the overall flow and fairness of the game. When the ball is inbounded from the correct location, it ensures that the offense and defense have an equal chance to contest the possession. It prevents teams from gaining an unfair advantage by manipulating the inbound spot, which could disrupt the balance of the game. Coaches design specific plays and offensive or defensive strategies based on where the ball will be put in play. It is therefore essential for game officials to be diligent in administering the ball at the proper throw-in location. With the adoption of Rules 752 through 754, coaches, players, and officials are reminded of the following rules governing throw-in locations. A. Anytime a team causes the ball to go out of bounds in either the front court or the back court, the throw-in occurs from the spot where the ball went out of bounds. B. When a violation by either team, a foul before the bonus by either team, or dead ball, for example an inadvertent whistle or held ball occurs, that will result in a throw-in, officials must ask themselves three questions. Where did the violation or foul occur? Is the throw-in team in its front court or back court? Where was the ball when the interruption occurred? 1. If the throw-in is to be in the team's front court, it shall be at either the nearest 28-foot mark along each sideline or the nearest spot 3 feet outside the lane line and the end line. If the throw-in is to be in the team's back court, the throw-in shall be at the designated spot nearest to where the foul, violation, or other stoppage in play occurred. End of game protocols. As a game nears the end of playing time, officials need to remind each other of the game-ending procedures to prevent potential issues. Oftentimes, late game timeouts will provide the best opportunities to A. Confirm the following with the scorer. 1. Accuracy of the official scorebook. 2. The number of timeouts remaining for each team. Inform the head coach if the team has used its last timeout. 3. The number of team fouls and impact on the bonus. B. Remind the timer of the following. 1. Watch the officials for the clock start and clock stop signals. Be prepared to assist in aiding the officials regarding whether a last-second shot was released prior to the end of time, especially if the gym is loud and the officials cannot hear the final horn. C. Officials should discuss the following. 1. Last-second shot responsibility. Trail official for 2-person, center or trail for 3-person. 2. Unless the ball is tapped, no try can be attempted on a throw-in or free throw with 0.3 of a second or less remaining. 3. Intentional or flagrant fouls are 2 shots and a designated spot throw-in as discussed during the pregame conference. 4. If a foul occurs as the game-ending horn sounds and the score can be tied or the game won by the ensuing free throws, the official must administer the free throws. If the free throws will not change the outcome, the free throws will not be attempted. D. If the score is tied at the end of regulation time, inform each team and the table officials of the overtime procedure, length of overtime period, additional 60-second timeout, etc. E. Following the game-ending horn, the referee should confirm with the scorer that everything is correct, then leave the floor with their partners. In situations when the score is separated by 3 points or less, it may be necessary to verbally confirm with the scorer. In games where the margin of victory is larger, a visual signal such as a thumbs up will suffice. Be confident that everything is correct, as the official's jurisdiction ends when they leave the visual confines of the playing court. Rule 1. Court and Equipment. Section 1. Playing court dimensions. The playing court shall be a rectangular surface free from obstructions and with dimensions not greater than 94 feet in length by 50 feet in width. Ideal measurements are, for high school age, 84 by 50 feet. These are the dimensions for the playing court only. Suggestions about construction and lighting are in Diagram 1. Section 2. Sidelines, Endlines. Article 1. The playing court shall be marked with side lines, end lines, and other lines as shown in Diagram 1. There shall be at least 3 feet and preferably 10 feet of unobstructed space outside boundaries. The sidelines and end lines shall be a minimum of 2 inches in width. If it is desirable to use contrasting colored floor areas instead of the lines, see Table 1, Number 3. Article 2. If, on an unofficial court, there is less than 3 feet of unobstructed space outside any sideline or end line, a narrow broken line shall be marked on the court parallel with and 3 feet inside that boundary. This restraining line becomes the boundary line during a throw-in on that side or end, as in Rule 7.6. It continues to be the boundary until the ball crosses the line. Section 3. Center Restraining Circle, Division Line. Article 1. A restraining circle shall be drawn at the center of the court with a radius of 6 feet measured to the outside edge. The edge of the circle shall be designated with a minimum of a 1/4 inch wide single line, but no wider than 2 inches. See Table 1, Number 3, if the use of contrasting colored floor areas instead of a line is desirable. Spaces for non-jumpers around the center circle are 36 inches deep. Article 2. A division line 2 inches wide shall divide the court into 2 equal parts. If the court is less than 74 feet long, it should be divided by 2 lines, each parallel to and 40 feet from the farther end line. Article 3. Shadow bordered lines are permissible. A shadow line is a line that designates the required width by use of border or outline lines at least 1/4 inch wide, which shall lie within the required width. Border lines that are the natural color of the court are permissible. The area within these lines need not be color, but the continuous outline shall be clearly visible to the officials. If the floor has a logo in the center of the court, that logo should not distract from the visibility of the division line or center circle. Section 4. 3-point line. Article 1. A 3-point line, 2 inches wide in the form of a semicircle, shall be drawn at each end of the court as shown in Diagram 1. The semicircle has a radius of 19 feet 9 inches from a point in the middle of the free throw lane directly below the center of the basket to the outside edge of the line. The semicircle shall be extended with a 2-inch wide line perpendicular to the end line, the length of which shall be 63 inches from the inside edge of the end line. Article 2. The 3-point line shall be the same color as the free throw lane boundary lines and free throw semicircle. Section 5. Free throw lane. Article 1. A free throw lane, 12 feet wide, measured to the outside of each lane boundary, and the semicircle with the free throw line as a diameter, shall be marked at each end of the court with dimensions and markings as shown in Diagram 1. All lines designating the free throw lane, but not lane space marks, are part of the lane. Article 2. The lane space marks, 2 inches by 8 inches, identify areas which extend 36 inches from the outer edge of the lane lines toward the sidelines. There are 3 lane spaces on each lane boundary line. Article 3. The free throw lane line and semicircle shall be the same color as the 3-point line. See Table 1, Number 3, if the use of contrasting colored floor areas instead of the lines is desirable. Section 6. Free throw line. A free throw line 2 inches wide shall be drawn across both semicircles, which have an outside radius of 6 feet, as shown in Diagram 1. It shall be parallel to the end line and shall have its farthest edge 15 feet from the plane of the face of the backboard. Section 7. Backboards. Article 1. The backboard shall be the same size at both ends of the court. The backboard shall be one of 3 types. 1. A rectangle 6 feet horizontally and 4 feet vertically, or 2. A rectangle 6 feet horizontally and 3.5 feet vertically, or 3. A fan-shaped backboard, 54 inches wide and with dimensions as shown in Diagram 2. Note, the 6-foot horizontal and 3.5-foot vertical dimensions are recommended for replacement backboards or new installations. Article 2. Each of the backboards shall be of any rigid material. The front surface shall be flat and, unless it is transparent, it shall be white. Tinted glass backboards are prohibited. Diagram 2 gives specifications for the 3 types of backboards. See Rule 1, Sections 7, 8, and 9. It is not legal to paint a fan-shaped board on a rectangular backboard. Note, for the fan-shaped backboard in transparent material, The recurved cutout at the bottom may be filled in and the ring attached to the front of the backboard. Article 3. If the backboard is transparent, it shall be marked as follows. A rectangle shall be centered behind the ring and marked by a 2-inch white line. The rectangle shall have outside dimensions of 24 inches horizontally and 18 inches vertically. For the rectangular backboard, the top edge of the backboard shall be level with the ring. For the fan-shaped backboard, the baseline shall be omitted, and 2 vertical lines shall be extended to the bottom of the backboard. The rectangular target in a bright orange or black color may be used on a non-transparent backboard. The border of the backboard shall be marked with a white line. The border shall be 3 inches or less in width. Article 4. Either type backboard may be transparent or non-transparent. No logo, marking, lettering, etc. is permitted on the backboard padding, or basket. Section 8. Backboard position. Article 1. Each backboard shall be midway between the sidelines, with the plane of its front face perpendicular to the floor, parallel to the end line, and 4 feet from it. Article 2. The upper edge of the backboard shall be 13 feet above the floor for the rectangular and 12 feet 8 inches for the fan-shaped. The backboard shall be protected from spectators to a distance of at least 3 feet at each end. Section 9. Backboard padding, support systems. Article 1. The bottom and each side of all rectangular backboards shall be padded with a poly, high-carb vinyl type material that meets the Bashor resilience test with a range of 20 to 30. The padding shall cover the bottom surface of the board and the side surface to a distance of 15 inches up from the bottom. The front and back surfaces shall be covered to a minimum distance of 3/4 inch from the bottom of the backboard. The padding shall be 1 inch thick from the front and back surfaces of the backboard. The material shall be 2 inches from the bottom edge of the backboard. It is recommended that the padding be mounted on the backboard by adhesive or material such as Velcro, channel, etc. The padding shall be a single solid color and shall be the same color on both backboards. Article 2. Any backboard support behind the backboard and at a height of less than 9 feet above the floor shall be padded on the bottom surface to a distance of 2 feet from the face of the backboard. All portable backstops shall have the bases padded to a height of 7 feet on the court side surface. Article 3. Clearances. As below and behind backboards, all support systems should be at least 8 feet behind the plane of the backboard face and at a height of 7 feet or more above the floor. Article 4. Any backboard support, all of which is not directly behind the backboard, should be at least 6 inches behind it if the support extends above the top, and at least 2 feet behind it if the support extends beyond the side. Any overhead backboard support structure, which shall be forward braced due to space limitations, architectural or structural restraints, shall meet the following requirements. A front diagonal brace system shall be located above a line extending upward and into the playing court at a maximum 45-degree angle from a point on a vertical line located a minimum of 6 inches behind the front side of the backboard at a minimum height of 4 feet 6 inches above the basket ring. Article 5. Warning on misuse of portable backstops. Manufacturers and administrators should be aware of an extreme caution warning relative to the misuse of portable backstops. A high degree of injury potential and a severe liability problem exists when players or spectators are allowed to hang, sit, or stand on the basket ring or backboard. Administrators shall see that this practice is eliminated, or that the portable units are lowered at the completion of the game. There is a high risk of severe injury, even death, if this practice is allowed to occur. A recommended warning or inscription such as, "Danger, please do not get on the ring or backboard," is desirable. Section 10. Basket size, material. Article 1. Each basket shall consist of a single metal ring, 18 inches in inside diameter, its flange and braces, and a white cord 12 mesh net, 15 to 18 inches in length, suspended from beneath the ring. Article 2. Each ring shall not be more than 5/8 inch in diameter, with the possible addition of small gauge loops at the bottom edge for attaching a 12 mesh net. The ring and its attaching flange and braces shall be bright orange in color. Article 3. The cord of the net shall be not less than 120 count thread, nor more than 144 thread twine or plastic material of comparable dimensions with no additional extensions. It shall be constructed to momentarily check the ball as it passes through. Section 11. Basket ring. Each basket ring shall be securely attached to the backboard support system with a ring restraining device. Such a device shall ensure the basket stays attached in the event a glass backboard breaks. Each basket ring shall have its upper edge 10 feet above and parallel to the floor and shall be equidistant from the vertical edges of the backboard. The nearest point of the inside edge of the ring shall be 6 inches from the plane of the face of the backboard. Article 2. Positive lock breakaway, flex breakaway, and fixed rings are legal. Breakaway basket rings shall have rebound characteristics similar to those of fixed rings. The pressure release mechanism should ensure these characteristics as well as protect both the ring and backboard. The design of the ring and its construction should ensure player safety. Article 3. For those rings with a breakaway mechanism, the pressure release mechanism shall be preset so that rings do not deflect more than 1/2 inch when subjected to static load of 50 pounds and may be sealed or field adjustable. When released, the positive lock breakaway ring shall not rotate more than 30 degrees below the original horizontal position. After release and with the load no longer applied, the ring shall return automatically and instantaneously to the original position. Note, it is recommended that schools have the basket rings tested for rules compliance. Section 12. Ball. Article 1. The ball shall meet the following specifications. A. Its solid color shall be the Pantone Matching System, or PMS, orange 151, red-orange 173, or brown 1535. B. It shall be spherical. C. It shall have a deeply pebbled, granulated surface with horizontally shaped panels bonded tightly to the rubber carcass. D. Their circumference shall be 1. Within a minimum of 29.5 inches to a maximum of 30 inches for high school boys competition. 2. Within a minimum of 28.5 inches to a maximum of 29 inches for high school girls competition. E. The weight shall be 1. Within a minimum of 20 ounces to a maximum of 22 ounces for high school boys competition. 2. Within a minimum of 18 ounces to a maximum of 20 ounces for high school girls competition. F. The black rib separating the panels shall not exceed 1/4 inch in width. G. The ball shall include the NFHS authenticating mark. The mark can be displayed in either format shown in Diagram 3. A current list of NFHS authenticated products can be found on the website nfhs.org under Resources. Article 2. The ball shall be inflated to an air pressure such that when it is dropped to the playing surface from a height of 6 feet, measured to the bottom of the ball, it shall rebound to a height measured to the top of the ball of not less than 49 inches when it strikes on its least resilient spot, nor more than 54 inches when it strikes on its most resilient spot. Exception. To be legal, the air pressure which will give the required reaction shall be stamped on it. The pressure for game use shall make the ball bounce legally. Article 3. The home team shall provide a ball which meets the specifications. The referee shall be the sole judge of the legality of the ball and may select a ball provided by the visiting team. Section 13. Team bench locations, coaching box, timeout area. Article 1. The location of each team's bench shall be designated by game management. It is recommended that the benches for team members and coaches of both teams be placed along that side of the court on which the scorers and timers table is located. Article 2. The coaching box shall be outlined outside the side of the court on which the scorers and timers table and team benches are located. The area shall be bounded by a line drawn 28 feet from the end line towards the division line. A line perpendicular to the 28-foot line and placed at each end with a minimum length of 2 feet shall extend toward the team bench so that the coaching box boundary is evident. These lines shall be located off the court and be 2 inches wide. The same directions should be followed for the other side of the scorer's table and timer's table. Note, state associations may alter the length and placement of the 28-foot maximum coaching box. Article 3. The timeout area shall be the area inside an imaginary rectangle formed by the boundaries of the sideline, including the bench, end line, and an imaginary line extended from the free throw lane line nearest the bench area, meeting an imaginary line extended from the coaching box line. Section 14. Red LED light audible signal. A red light behind each backboard or an LED light on each backboard is permitted to signal that time has expired for a quarter or extra period. In facilities without a red light behind or an LED light on each backboard, the audible timer signal shall indicate that time has expired. Section 15. Clock and scoreboard. A visible game clock and scoreboard are mandatory. An alternate timing device and scoring information system shall be available in the event of a malfunction. Section 16. Possession arrow. A visible display shall be located at the scorers and timers table to indicate team possession for the alternating possession procedure. Section 17. X locates scorer. An X 12 inches long and 2 inches wide shall be placed on the floor out of bounds directly in front of the official scorer to help substitutes with the proper location. See Diagram 1. Section 18. Music, sound effects, artificial noisemakers. The playing of music or sound effects shall only be permitted during pregame, timeouts, intermission, and postgame. The use of artificial noisemakers shall be prohibited. The announcer shall be prohibited from making announcements during the game, such as 2 minutes to go. Section 19. Electronic devices. The use of electronic devices is permitted during the game. Section 20. Non-playing personnel. Non-playing personnel, e.g. spirit participants, media, shall remain outside of the playing area during a 30-second timeout. Non-playing personnel shall be located outside the free throw lane lines extended toward the sidelines throughout the game. Rule 2. Officials and their duties. Section 1. Game and table officials. Article 1. The official's uniform shall be a black and white striped shirt, black pants, predominantly black shoes, and black socks. Article 2. The game officials shall be a referee and an umpire, or a referee and 2 umpires who shall be assisted by an official timer and scorer. Article 3. The scorer and timer shall be located at the scorers and timers table on the side of the court. It is recommended that the official scorer and timer be seated next to each other. Note, if using a shot clock, the operator shall be located at the scorers and timers table. Section 2. Officials' jurisdiction. Article 1. The officials shall make decisions for infractions of the rules committed within or outside the boundary lines. The use of any replay or television monitoring equipment by the officials in making any decision relating to the game is prohibited. Exception. A state association may permit game or replay officials to use a replay monitor during state championship series contests to determine if a scored goal at the expiration of time in the fourth quarter or any overtime period with 0:00 on the game clock should be counted, and if so, determine if it is a 2-point or 3-point goal. Article 2. The official's jurisdiction prior to the game begins when they arrive on the floor. The official's arrival on the floor shall be at least 15 minutes before the scheduled starting time of the game. Article 3. The official's jurisdiction extends through periods when the game may be momentarily stopped for any reason. Article 4. The jurisdiction of the officials is terminated and the final score has been approved when all officials leave the visual confines of the playing area. Note, the officials retain clerical authority over the contest throughout the completion of any reports, including those imposing disqualifications, which are responsive to actions occurring while the officials had jurisdiction. State associations may intercede in the event of unusual incidents that occur before, during, or after the official's jurisdiction has ended, or in the event that a contest is terminated prior to the conclusion of regulation play. Section 3. Referee's authority. The referee shall make decisions on any points not specifically covered in the rules. Section 4. Referee's pregame duties. The referee shall, Article 1, inspect and approve all equipment, including court, baskets, ball, backboards, and scorers and timer signals. Article 2. Designate the official timepiece and official timer prior to the scheduled starting time of the game. Article 3. Designate the official scorebook and official scorer prior to the scheduled starting time of the game. Note, a state association may authorize use of supplementary equipment to aid in game administration. Article 4. Be responsible for having each team notified 3 minutes before each half is to begin. Article 5. Verify with the head coach prior to each contest that all team members' uniforms and equipment are legal and will be worn properly, and that all participants will exhibit proper sporting behavior throughout the contest. Section 5. Referee's duties during game. The referee shall, Article 1, designate the official to toss the ball in the center restraining circle for all jump ball situations. Article 2. Administer the alternating possession throw-in to start the second, third, and fourth quarters. Article 3. Decide whether a goal shall count if the officials disagree. Article 4. May declare the game a forfeit when conditions warrant. Article 5. Decide matters upon which the scorer and timer disagree and correct obvious timing errors. Article 6. Confer with the official scorer at halftime to determine the possession arrow is pointed in the proper direction to begin play in the third quarter. Article 7. Check and approve the score at the end of each half. Article 8. Inform each team and the table officials of the overtime procedures when the score is tied at the end of regulation time. Section 6. Officials' authority. No official has the authority to set aside or question decisions made by the other officials within the limits of their respective outlined duties. Section 7. Officials' general duties. The officials shall conduct the game in accordance with the rules. This includes Article 1. Notifying the captains when play is about to begin at the start of the game. Article 2. Putting the ball in play. Article 3. Determining when the ball becomes dead and live. Article 4. Prohibiting practice during a dead ball except between halves. Article 5. Administering penalties. Article 6. Granting and charging timeout. Article 7. Beckoning substitutes to enter the court. Article 8. Signaling a three-point attempt and signaling a successful three-point goal. Article 9. Silently and visibly counting seconds to administer the throw-in, as in 7-6, free throw, as in 8-4 and 9-1-3A, backcourt, as in 9-8, and closely guarded, as in 9-10 rules. Article 10. Reporting a team warning for delay to the official scorer and then to the head coach of the offending team. Article 11. Reporting a team warning for head coach or bench personnel misconduct to the official scorer and then to the head coach of the offending team. Article 12. Notifying the head coach when a team is granted its final allowable timeout. Section 8. Officials' additional duties. The officials shall, Article 1, penalize unsporting conduct by any player, coach, substitute, team attendant, or follower. Note, the home team management or game committee is responsible for spectator behavior, insofar as it can reasonably be expected to control the spectators. The officials may rule fouls on either team if its supporters act in such a way as to interfere with the proper conduct of the game. Discretion shall be used in ruling such fouls, however, lest a team be unjustly penalized. When team supporters become unruly or interfere with the orderly progress of the game, the officials shall stop the game until the host management resolves the situation and the game can proceed in an orderly manner. In the absence of a designated school representative, the home coach shall serve as the host management. Article 2. Penalize and disqualify the offender if flagrant misconduct occurs. Article 3. Remove a player from the game who commits a fifth foul, personal, and technical. Article 4. Notify the head coach and request the timer to begin the replacement interval, and then notify the player on a disqualification, as in Rule 2.12.5. Article 5. Immediately remove a player from the game who exhibits signs, symptoms, or behaviors consistent with a concussion, as in Rule 3.3.8. See NFHS Suggested Guidelines for Management of Concussion in Sports, Appendix C, on page 85. Section 9. Signals. Article 1. When a foul occurs, an official shall signal the timer to stop the clock. The official shall verbally inform the offender, then, with fingers of two hands, indicate to the scorer the number of the offender and the number of free throws. Article 2. When a team is entitled to a throw-in, the official shall signal the timer to stop the clock and clearly signal A. The act which caused the ball to become dead, B. The direction of play and announce the color of the team entitled to the throw-in, C. The throw-in spot unless it follows a successful goal or an awarded goal. Section 10. Correctable errors. Article 1. Officials may correct an error if a rule is inadvertently set aside and results in A. failure to award a merited free throw, B. Awarding an unmerited free throw, C. Permitting a wrong player to attempt a free throw, D. Attempting a free throw at the wrong basket, E. Erroneously counting or canceling a score. Article 2. In order to correct any of the official's errors listed in Article 1, such error shall be recognized by an official no later than during the first dead ball after the clock has properly started. Article 3. If in Article 1E the error is made while the clock is running and the ball dead, it shall be recognized by an official before the second live ball. Article 4. If the error is a free throw by the wrong player or at the wrong basket, or the awarding of an unmerited free throw, the free throw and the activity during it, other than unsporting, flagrant, intentional, or technical fouls, shall be cancelled. Article 5. Points scored, consumed time, and additional activity which may occur prior to the recognition of an error shall not be nullified. Errors because of free throw attempts by the wrong player or at the wrong basket shall be corrected by applying Rules 8.1 and 8.2. Article 6. If an error is corrected, play shall be resumed from the point of interruption to rectify the error, unless it involves awarding a merited free throw and there has been no change of team possession since the error was made, in which case the play shall resume as after any free throw attempts. Section 11. Scorer's duties. The scorer shall, Article 1, keep a record of the names and numbers of players who are to start the game and of all substitutes who enter the game. Note, it is recommended the team members' numbers be entered into the scorebook in numerical order. Article 2. Notify the nearer official when there is an infraction of the rules pertaining to a submission of the roster, substitutions, or numbers of players. Article 3. Signal the officials by using the game horn or a sounding device unlike that used by the referee and umpires. This may be used immediately if or as soon as the ball is dead or is in control of the offending team. Article 4. Record the field goals made, the free throws made and missed, and keep a running summary of the points scored. Article 5. Record warnings for head coach or bench personnel misconduct as well as the personal and technical fouls reported on each player and notify an official immediately when the fifth foul, personal and technical, is charged to any player. The second technical foul is charged to any team member, bench personnel, or directly to the head coach, or the third technical foul is charged to the head coach. Note, the procedure if a player who has committed a fifth foul continues to play because the scorer has failed to notify the official is as follows. As soon as the scorer discovers the irregularity, the game horn should be sounded after or as soon as the ball is in control of the offending team or is dead. The disqualified player shall be removed immediately. Any points which may have been scored while such player was illegally in the game are counted. If other aspects of the error are correctable, the procedure to be followed is included among the duties of the officials. Article 6. Record the timeout information charged to each team, who and when, and notify a team and its coach through an official whenever that team is granted its final allotted charged timeout. Article 7. Record the held balls for the alternating possession procedure and be responsible for the possession arrow. Article 8. Record the number of warnings in the official scorebook as in Rules 447 and 448. Article 9. Signal the nearer official each time a timeout is granted in excess of the allotted number. Article 10. Signal in each quarter when a player commits a common foul beginning with the team's fifth foul. Article 11. Compare records with the visiting scorer after each goal, each foul, each charged timeout, and end of each quarter and extra period, notifying the referee at once of any discrepancy. If the mistake cannot be found, the referee shall accept the record of the official scorebook unless the referee has knowledge to decide otherwise. If the discrepancy is in the score and the mistake is not resolved, the referee shall accept the progressive team totals of the official scorebook. A bookkeeping mistake may be corrected at any time until the referee approves the final score. The scorebook of the home team shall be the official book unless the referee determines otherwise. The official scorebook shall remain at the scorer's table throughout the game, including all intermissions. Article 12. The official scorer is required to wear a black and white vertically striped garment. Section 12. Timer's duties. The timer shall, Article 1, note when each half is to start and shall notify the referee more than 3 minutes before this time so the referee may notify the teams or cause them to be notified at least 3 minutes before the half is to start. Article 2, signal the scorer 3 minutes before starting time. Article 3, be provided with a clock to be used for timing quarters, extra periods and intermissions, and a stopwatch for timing timeouts. The clock shall be operated by the official timer. The clock and a stopwatch shall be placed so that they may be seen by the timer. The clock shall be started or stopped as prescribed in Rules 5.8 and 5.9. Article 4. Sound a warning signal 15 seconds before the expiration of an intermission or a timeout, immediately after which the players shall prepare to resume play, and signal again at the end of the intermission or timeout. Article 5. Sound a warning signal to announce 15 seconds maximum permitted for replacing a disqualified or injured player, or for a player directed to leave the game, and signal again at the end of the interval. Note, the official shall signal the timer to begin the 15-second interval for replacing an injured player after the injured player has been removed from the court and the coach has been notified that a replacement is required, except as in Rule 336. Article 6. Stop the clock at the expiration of time for each quarter or extra period, and when an official signals timeout as in Rule 5.8. For an intermission or a charged timeout, start the stopwatch and signal the referee as outlined in Article 4. Article 7. Indicate by signal the expiration of playing time in each quarter or extra period. If a red or LED light is used, the light is the official expiration of playing time. Section 13. Timer's equipment. If the red or LED light fails to illuminate and the timer signal fails to sound or is not recognized by the officials, the timer shall go onto the court or use other means to immediately notify the nearest official. If, in the meantime, a goal has been made or a foul has occurred, the referee shall consult the timer. Article 1. If the table officials agree that time expired before the ball was in flight, the goal shall not count. Article 2. If table officials agree that the quarter or extra period ended, as in Rule 5.6.2, before the foul occurred, the foul shall be disregarded unless it was intentional or flagrant. Article 3. If table officials disagree, the goal shall count and/or the foul shall be penalized, unless the referee has knowledge which alters such ruling. Section 14. Shot clock. By state association adoption, member state associations may establish a shot clock in which the team in control shall attempt or try for a field goal within 35 seconds after gaining team control. Article 1. This shall be regulated by a visible shot clock. Article 2. The tap or try for field goal shall leave the shooter's hand before the expiration of time and subsequently strike the basket ring or enter the basket before or after the shot clock period has expired. See the guidelines for establishing a shot clock on page 74. Rule 3. Players, substitutes, and equipment. Section 1. Team and captain. Article 1. Each team consists of 5 players, one of whom is the captain. Note: a team shall begin the game with 5 players, but if it has no substitutes to replace disqualified or injured players, it shall continue with fewer than 5. When there is only one player participating for a team, the team shall forfeit the game unless the referee believes that team has an opportunity to win the game. Article 2. The captain is the representative of the team and may address an official on matters of interpretation or to obtain essential information if it is done in a courteous manner. Any player may address an official to request a timeout or permission to leave the court. Section 2. Rosters, starters, and numbers. Article 1. At least 10 minutes before the scheduled starting time, each team shall supply the official scorer with the name and number of each team member and designate the 5 starting players. Failure to comply results in a technical foul, as in 10-1-1 penalty. Article 2. After the 10-minute time limit specified in Article 1, a team is charged with a maximum of one technical foul, regardless of how many infractions of the following are committed, as in 10-1-2 penalty. A. Changing a designated starter, unless necessitated by illness, injury, illegal equipment or apparel, etc., or to attempt a technical foul free throw. B. Adding a name to the team member list. C. Requiring the scorer to change a team member's or player's number in the scorebook. D. Requiring a player to change to the number in the scorebook. E. Having identical numbers on team members and or players. Section 3. Substitution. Article 1. A substitute who desires to enter shall report to the scorer, giving the substitute's number. A. Between quarters, at halftime, and during a timeout, the substitute shall report or be in position to report to the scorer prior to the warning signal, which is sounded 15 seconds before the end of the intermission or the timeout. Note: when the substitute is not properly reported, the players in the game at the conclusion of the quarter, when the timeout was granted, shall begin play for the new quarter after the timeout. B. Substitutions between halves may be made by the substitute or a team representative. C. During multiple free throws resulting from personal fouls, substitutions may be made only before the final attempt in the sequence and after the final attempt has been scored. Note: when a player is required by rule to be replaced prior to administering the free throws, then all other substitutes who have legally reported may also enter the game. D. If entry is at any time other than between quarters, and a substitute who is entitled and ready to enter reports to the scorer shall use a sounding device or game horn if or as soon as the ball is dead and the clock is stopped. E. A captain may request a defensive matchup if 3 or more substitutes from the same team enter during an opportunity to substitute. Article 2. The substitute shall remain outside the boundary until an official beckons, whereupon the substitute shall enter immediately. If the ball is about to become live, the beckoning signal should be withheld. The entering substitute shall not replace a designated jumper or a free thrower, except in Rules 8.2 and 8.3. If the substitute enters to replace a player who shall jump or attempt a free throw, the substitute shall withdraw until the next opportunity to substitute. Article 3. A substitute becomes a player when the substitute legally enters the court. If entry is not legal, the substitute becomes a player when the ball becomes live. A player becomes bench personnel after the player's substitute becomes a player or after notification of the coach following the player's disqualification. Article 4. A player who has been replaced or directed to leave the game shall not re-enter before the next opportunity to substitute after the clock has started properly following the player's replacement. Article 5. A player not wearing the pants or skirt properly and above the hips, and or a player not tucking in a team jersey front and back designed to be worn inside the pants or skirt, shall be directed to leave the game, as in Rule 3.3.4. A charged timeout shall not alter this requirement. Article 6. A player who has been injured to the extent that the coach or any other bench personnel is beckoned and comes onto the court shall be directed to leave the game unless a timeout is requested by and granted to the injured player's team and the situation can be corrected by the end of the timeout. Article 7. A player who is bleeding, has an open wound, has any amount of blood on the uniform, or has blood on the player's body, shall be directed to leave the game until the bleeding is stopped, the wound is covered, the uniform and or body is appropriately cleaned, and or the uniform is changed before returning to competition, unless a timeout is requested by and granted to the player's team and the situation can be corrected by the end of the timeout. See NFHS General Guidelines for Sports Hygiene, Skin Infections, and Communicable Diseases in Appendix E on page 87. Notes for Articles 6 and 7. If players from both teams are directed to leave the game because of injury or blood, both teams shall request and be granted a timeout in order to keep each player in the game, as in Rule 5.11.8. 2. A timeout granted to keep a player in the game shall be requested before the replacement interval begins. Article 8. Any player who exhibits signs, symptoms, or behaviors consistent with a concussion, such as loss of consciousness, headache, dizziness, confusion, or balance problems, shall be immediately removed from the game and shall not return to play until cleared by an appropriate health care professional. See NFHS suggested guidelines for management of concussion in sports in Appendix C on page 85. Section 4. Uniforms. Article 1. Team jersey color and design shall adhere to the following. A. The torso of the team jersey shall be the same single solid color for all team members. B. The torso is the portion of the jersey from an imaginary line at the base of the neckline, extending to each armhole down to the bottom hem of the jersey, and from side seam insert to side seam insert. The imaginary line at the base of the neckline shall not extend beyond 1½ inches from the lowest point of the neckline apex or opening. C. The torso color shall be white for the home team and a contrasting dark color for the visiting team. Notes: 1. It is recommended that the dark torso color for the visiting team be the darker color of the school's color scheme or black. 2. The gray color used in an away jersey must meet the 70% standard. D. There are no color or design restrictions in the area of the team jersey from the imaginary line at the base of the neckline to the top of the shoulder and in the corresponding area on the back of the jersey. There are restrictions on what identifying names may be placed in this area, as in 344. E. Side inserts, including trim, piping, or accent colors, shall be no more than 4 inches in width, 2 inches on each side of the seam, of any colors or design, centered vertically below the armpit. Side inserts for all team jerseys shall be the same width. F. Trim, piping, or an accent color differing from the torso color shall not exceed 1 inch around the arm openings, except as in item D above. Article 2. Logos, flags, and patches shall adhere to the following. A. A visible manufacturer's logo or trademark or reference is permitted on the team jersey not to exceed 2 1/4 square inches with no dimension more than 2 1/4 inches. The manufacturer's logo may be located no more than 5 inches below the shoulder seam on the front of the jersey or 2 inches from the neckline on the back of the jersey or in either side insert. B. The American flag may be worn anywhere on the team jersey provided it does not exceed 2 by 3 inches and does not interfere with the visibility of the player's number. C. By state association adoption, one commemorative or memorial patch may be worn on the jersey. The patch shall not exceed 4 square inches, shall not be a number, and shall be located above the neckline or in the side insert. D. A school or conference logo or mascot may be located at the apex or opening of the neckline or above it in the corresponding area on the back of the jersey and or in either side insert. Article 3. Numbers shall adhere to the following. Team jerseys shall include the team member's number, which shall be at least 6 inches in height on the back and at least 4 inches high on the front and not less than 3/4 of an inch in width, excluding the border. B. The numbers shall be centered vertically and horizontally on the portion of the jersey that is intended to be visible. C. The numbers on the front and back of the team jersey shall be the same color and style. D. Each team member shall be numbered on the front and back of the team jersey with plain Arabic numerals. The following numbers are legal: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 00, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. A team member list shall not have both numbers 0 and 00. E. No more than 3 colors may be used on the number. The style of the number shall be clearly visible and conform to one of the following. 1. a solid contrasting color with no more than 2 solid color 1/4 inch borders around the entire number. If the team jersey color is used as a border, it shall be counted as one of the allowed colors. 2. The team jersey color itself, when bordered with not more than 2 1/4 inch solid borders contrasting with the team jersey color. This option shall be eliminated by the 2024-25 season. 3. A solid contrasting color with a shadow trim of a contrasting color on part of the number not to exceed 1/2 inch in width and may be used with 1 1/4 inch border. Article 4. Identifying names shall adhere to the following. A. If used, lettering with school name, school's nickname, school logo name, player's name, and or abbreviations of the official school name shall be placed horizontally on the jersey. B. The panel in the shoulder area of the jersey on the back may be used for placing identifying names as well. C. Lettering above a number may be arched, but the first and last letters shall be on the same horizontal plane. Such plane shall not be below a plane extending through the top of the numbers. D. Lettering below a number shall have the first and last letters on the same horizontal plane, and said plane shall not be above a plane extending through the bottom of the numbers. E. Any point on any letter shall not be closer than 1 inch to any point on any numbers. F. Any form of decorative accent, for example, a paw, a halo, crown, or star, in an identifying name or abbreviation is only permitted if the name or abbreviation is located above the number. G. If a tail is used in the lettering of an identifying name or abbreviation, the name or abbreviation shall be located below the number. Article 5. Like-colored uniform bottoms must adhere to the following. A. Multiple styles of uniform bottoms may be worn by teammates and may include shorts, skirts, or pants. B. Uniform bottoms shall have only one visible manufacturer's logo or trademark reference. See Rule 3.6.2 for size requirements. Showing multiple manufacturers' logos on the waistband of the bottoms makes the item illegal. Section 5. Team members' equipment and apparel. Article 1. The referee shall not permit any team member to wear equipment or apparel which, in the referee's judgment, is dangerous or confusing to other players or is not appropriate. Note: each state association may, in keeping with applicable laws, authorize exceptions to NFHS playing rules to provide reasonable accommodations to individual participants with disabilities and or special needs, as well as those individuals with unique and extenuating circumstances. The accommodations should not fundamentally alter the sport, heighten risk to the athlete or others, or place opponents at a disadvantage. Article 2. Guards, casts, and braces shall meet the following guidelines. A. A guard, cast, or brace made of a hard and unyielding substance, such as, but not limited to, leather, plaster, plastic, or metal, shall not be worn on the elbow, hand, finger or thumb, wrist, or forearm, even though covered with soft padding. B. Hard and unyielding items, like guards, casts, braces, etc., on the upper arm or shoulder shall be padded with a closed cell, slow recovery foam padding no less than 1/2 inch thick. C. Knee and ankle braces, which are unaltered from the manufacturer's original design or production, are permitted and do not require any additional padding or covering, nor do the braces need to meet the color restrictions. Note: a brace is defined as anything worn for a medical purpose to increase stability. In general, it is made of neoprene or elastic knit with an insert embedded to support the joint. It may or may not have a hinge and or straps or an opening over the kneecap. D. A protective face mask may be worn and made of a hard material, but shall be worn molded to the face with no protrusions. E. Shall be worn for medical reasons. Article 3. Arm sleeves, knee sleeves, lower leg sleeves, compression shorts, and tights are permissible. A. Anything worn on the arm and or leg is a sleeve, except a knee brace, and shall meet the color restrictions. B. The sleeves or tights, compression shorts, shall be black, white, beige, or the predominant color of the jersey and the same color sleeves or tights shall be worn by teammates. All sleeves or tights, compression shorts, shall be the same solid color and shall meet the same color as any headband or wristband worn. D. Meet the logo requirements in Rule 3.6. Article 4. Wristbands and headwear shall meet the following guidelines. A. Headbands and wristbands shall be white, black, beige, or the predominant color of the jersey and shall be the same color for each item and all participants. They shall be the same color as any sleeve or tights worn. See Rule 3.6 for logo requirements. B. A headband is any item that goes around the entire head. It shall be a circular design without extensions. If worn, only one headband is permitted. It shall be worn on the forehead or crown, it shall be non-abrasive and unadorned, and it shall be no more than 3 inches wide. C. If worn, only one wristband is permitted on each wrist. Each shall be worn on the arm below the elbow. Each shall be moisture-absorbing, non-abrasive, and unadorned, and each shall be a maximum of 4 inches wide. D. Rubber, cloth, or elastic bands may be used to control hair. Hard items, including but not limited to beads, barrettes, bobby pins, and other adornments in the hair that are securely fastened to the head and do not present an increased risk to the player, teammates, or opponents, are allowed. Hair control devices are not required to meet color restrictions. E. Head coverings worn for religious reasons shall not be made of abrasive or hard materials and must be attached in such a way that the coverings are highly unlikely to come off during play. Note: the state association shall be notified after the contest if there is a concern about a head covering worn for religious reasons. F. Head decorations and headwear, except those specified above, are prohibited. Exception: state associations may, on an individual basis, permit a player to participate while wearing a head covering if it meets the following criteria: for medical or cosmetic reasons. In the event a participant is required by a licensed medical physician to cover the participant's head with a covering or wrap, the physician's statement is required before the state association can approve a covering or wrap which is not abrasive, hard, or dangerous to any other player and which is attached in such a way as it is highly unlikely that it will come off during play. Article 5. Equipment which is unnatural and or designed to increase a team member's height or vertical reach or to gain a competitive advantage shall not be permitted. Equipment and apparel shall not be modified from the original manufactured state and shall be worn in the manner the manufacturer intended it to be worn. Exception: provided the shorts are not in conflict with Rule 3, 4, 5, no drawstring or other part of the shorts intended to maintain them in a normal position causes potential harm to the player or others, and wearing of the shorts is not objectionable in exposing the anatomy, there is no restriction on folding or rolling the shorts at the natural waistband seam. Article 6. Undershirts, if worn, must adhere to the following. A. Shall be a single solid color similar to the torso of the jersey, or be solid black under visiting team dark jerseys only, and shall be hemmed and not have frayed or ragged edges. Visiting team members may wear either a single solid color similar to the torso of the jersey or black, but not both. B. If the undershirt has sleeves, they shall be the same length. C. Only one visible logo is permitted. See Rule 3.6 for logo requirements. Article 7. Jewelry is prohibited. Religious and medical alert medals are not considered jewelry. A religious medal shall be taped and worn under the uniform. A medical alert medal shall be taped and may be visible. Section 6. Logo, Trademark, Reference. Article 1. One visible manufacturer's logo, trademark, reference, or school logo, mascot is permitted on the wristbands, headband, compression shorts, undershirts, and arm and leg compression sleeves, as in 353, 354, 356C. Article 2. The size shall be limited to 2 1/4 square inches and shall not exceed 2 1/4 inches in any dimension on any item. Section 7. Safety Concerns. The referee shall not permit any team member to participate if, in the referee's judgment, any item constitutes a safety concern. Section 8. Mouth guard. 1. A tooth and mouth protector, intraoral, if worn, shall a. Include an occlusal or protecting and separating the biting surfaces portion. b. Include a labial, protecting the teeth and supporting structures portion. c. Cover the posterior teeth with adequate thickness. 2. It is recommended that protector be properly fitted, protecting the anterior or leading dental arch and a. Constructed from a model made from an impression of the individual's teeth, or b. Constructed and fitted to the individual by impressing the teeth into the tooth and mouth protector itself. 3. State associations may deem a tooth and mouth protector required equipment. Rule 4. Definitions. Section 1. Airborne shooter. Article 1. An airborne shooter is a player who has released the ball on a try or tap for a goal, or has tapped the ball and has not returned to the floor. Article 2. The airborne shooter is considered to be in the act of shooting. Section 2. Alternating possession and arrow. Article 1. Alternating possession is the method of putting the ball in play by a throw-in as outlined in Rule 6.4. Article 2. The possession arrow is a device located at the scorer's table which is used to indicate the direction of a team's basket for the alternating possession procedure. Section 3. Setting direction of initial arrow. Alternating possession control is established and the initial direction of the possession arrow is set toward the opponent's basket when, Article 1, a player secures control of the ball as after the jump ball beginning the game and each extra period. Article 2. Entering an overtime period, the ball is placed at the disposal of the free thrower after a common foul when the bonus free throws are in effect. Article 3. The ball is placed at the disposal of the thrower after a violation during or following the jump ball before a player secures control. b. The free throws for a non-common foul. c. A common foul before the bonus free throws are in effect. Note, this procedure is used only to establish the alternating possession procedure. See Rule 6.4 for using the procedure and reversing the possession arrow. Section 4. Ball location, location or status, at disposal. Article 1. A ball which is in contact with a player or with the court is in the backcourt if either the ball or the player, either player if the ball is touching more than one, is touching the backcourt. Article 2. A ball which is in contact with a player or with the court is in the front court if neither the ball nor the player is touching the backcourt. Article 3. A ball which is in flight retains the same location or status as when it was last in contact with a player or the court. Article 4. A ball which touches a player or an official is the same as the ball touching the floor at that individual's location or status. Article 5. A ball which touches the front faces or edges of the backboard is treated the same as touching the floor in bounds, as in 4:15:1. Article 6. During a dribble from back court to front court, the ball is in the front court when the ball and both feet of the dribbler touch the court entirely in the front court. Article 7. A ball is at the disposal of a player when it is a. Handed to a thrower or free thrower, b. Caught by a thrower or free thrower after it is bounced to the player, c. Placed on the floor at the spot, d. Available to a player after a goal and the official begins the throw-in count. Section 5. Basket choice. Article 1. A team's own basket is the one into which its players try to throw or tap the ball. Article 2. Each team's basket for practice before the game and for the first half shall be the one farther from its team's bench. Article 3. The teams shall change baskets for the second half. Article 4. If, by mistake, the officials permit a team to go the wrong direction, when discovered, all points scored, fouls committed, and time consumed shall count as if each team had gone the proper direction. Play shall resume with each team going the proper direction based on bench location. Section 6. Basket interference. Basket interference occurs when a player, Article 1, touches the ball or any part of the basket, including the net, while the ball is on or within either basket. Article 2. Touches the ball while any part of the ball is within the imaginary cylinder which has the basket ring as its lower base. Exception. In Articles 1 or 2, if a player has a hand legally in contact with the ball, it is not a violation if such contact with the ball continues after it enters the imaginary cylinder or if in such action the player touches the basket. Dunking or stuffing is legal and is not basket interference. Article 3. Touches the ball outside the cylinder while reaching through the basket from below. Article 4. Pulls down a movable ring so that it contacts the ball before the ring returns to its original position. Section 7. Blocking and charging. Article 1. Blocking is illegal personal contact which impedes the progress of an opponent with or without the ball. Article 2. Charging is illegal personal contact caused by pushing or moving into an opponent's torso. A. A player who is moving with the ball is required to stop or change direction to avoid contact if a defensive player has obtained a legal guarding position in the player's path. B. If a guard has obtained a legal guarding position, the player with the ball shall get head and shoulders past the torso of the defensive player. If contact occurs on the torso of the defensive player, the dribbler is responsible for the contact. C. There shall be reasonable space between two defensive players or a defensive player and a boundary line to allow the dribbler to continue in the dribbler's path. If there is less than 3 feet of space, the dribbler has the greater responsibility for the contact. D. The player with the ball may not push the torso of the guard to gain an advantage to pass, shoot, or dribble. Section 8. Bonus free throws. Article 1. The bonus is the 2 free throws awarded for a common foul, except a player control or team control foul, as follows. A. Beginning with a team's 5th foul in each quarter, 2 free throws are awarded, regardless of whether or not the first free throw is successful. B. Team fouls will be reset to 0 at the end of each quarter. Note: Rule 2.10.1a or b is applied if a merited free throw is not awarded or an unmerited free throw is awarded. Article 2. Player control, team control, and technical fouls are counted as team fouls to reach the bonus. When a technical foul is also charged indirectly to the head coach, it counts only as one team foul. Section 9. Boundary lines. Article 1. Boundary lines of the court consist of end lines and side lines. Article 2. The inside edges of these lines define the inbounds and out-of-bounds areas. Section 10. Closely guarded. A closely guarded situation occurs when a player in control of the ball is in the player team's front court, is continuously guarded by any opponent who is within 6 feet of the player who is holding or dribbling the ball. The distance shall be measured from the forward foot or feet of the defender to the forward foot or feet of the ball handler. A closely guarded count shall be terminated when the offensive player in control of the ball gets head and shoulders past the defensive player. Section 11. Continuous motion. Article 1. Continuous motion applies to a try or tap for field goals and free throws, but it has no significance unless there is a foul by any defensive player during the interval which begins when the habitual throwing movement starts a try or with the touching on a tap and ends when the ball is clearly in flight. Article 2. If an opponent fouls after a player has started a try or tap for field goal, the player is permitted to complete the customary arm movement, and if pivoting or stepping when fouled, may complete the usual foot or body movement in any activity while holding the ball. These privileges are granted only when the usual throwing motion has started before the foul occurs and before the ball is in flight. Article 3. Continuous motion does not apply if a teammate fouls after a player has started a try or tap for field goal and before the ball is in flight. The ball becomes dead immediately. Section 12. Control, player, and team. Article 1. A player is in control of the ball when the player is holding or dribbling a live ball. There is no player control when, during a jump ball, a jumper catches the ball prior to the ball touching the floor or a non-jumper, or during an interrupted dribble. Article 2. A team is in control of the ball, A, when a player of the team is in control, B, while a live ball is being passed among teammates, C, during an interrupted dribble, D, when a player of the team has disposal of the ball for a throw-in. Article 3. Team control continues until A, the ball is in flight during a try or tap for field goal, B, an opponent secures control, C, the ball becomes dead. Article 4. While the ball remains live, a loose ball always remains in control of the team whose player last had control unless it is a try or tap for goal. Article 5. Team control does not exist during a jump ball or the touching of a rebound but is re-established when a player secures control. Article 6. Neither team control nor player control exists during a dead ball, a jump ball, or when the ball is in flight during a try or tap for field goal. Section 13. Court areas. Article 1. A team's front court consists of that part of the court between its end line and the nearer edge of the division line, including its basket and the inbounds part of the backboard. Article 2. A team's back court consists of the rest of the court, including the entire division line and the opponent's basket and inbounds part of the opponent's backboard. Section 14. Disqualified player. Article 1. A disqualified player is one who is barred from further participation in the game because of having committed a fifth foul, personal and technical, 2 technical fouls, or a flagrant foul. Article 2. A player is officially disqualified and becomes bench personnel when the coach is notified by an official. Section 15. Dribble. Article 1. A dribble is ball movement caused by a player in control who bats or intentionally strikes the ball with the hand or pushes the ball to the floor once or several times. It is not part of a dribble when the ball touches a player's own backboard. Article 2. During a dribble, the ball may be batted into the air provided it is permitted to strike the floor before the ball is touched again with the hands. Article 3. The dribble begins by pushing, throwing, or batting the ball to the floor before the pivot foot is lifted. Article 4. The dribble ends when A. The dribbler catches or causes the ball to come to rest in one or both hands. B. The dribbler palms or carries the ball by allowing it to come to rest in one or both hands. C. The dribbler simultaneously touches the ball with both hands. D. The ball touches or is touched by an opponent and causes the dribbler to lose control. E. The ball becomes dead. Article 5. An interrupted dribble occurs when the ball is loose after deflecting off the dribbler or after it momentarily gets away from the dribbler. There is no player control during an interrupted dribble. Article 6. During an interrupted dribble, A. A closely guarded count shall not be started or shall be terminated. B. A player control foul cannot be committed, but a team control foul still may be committed. C. A timeout request shall not be granted. D. Out-of-bounds violation does not apply on the player involved in the interrupted dribble. Section 16. Dunking. Dunking is the driving, forcing, pushing, or attempting to force a ball through the basket with the hands. Section 17. Extra period. An extra period is the extension of playing time necessary to break a tie score. See Rule 573. Section 18. Fighting. Fighting is a flagrant act and can occur when the ball is dead or live. Fighting includes, but is not limited to, combative actions such as Article 1. An attempt to strike, punch, or kick by using a fist, hands, arms, legs, or feet, regardless of whether contact is made. Article 2. An attempt to instigate a fight by committing an unsporting act that causes a person to retaliate by fighting. Section 19. Foul. A foul is an infraction of the rules which is charged and is penalized. Article 1. A personal foul is a player foul which involves illegal contact with an opponent while the ball is live, which hinders an opponent from performing normal defensive and offensive movements. A personal foul also includes contact by or on an airborne shooter when the ball is dead. Note: contact after the ball has become dead is incidental unless it is ruled intentional or flagrant, or is committed by or on an airborne shooter. Article 2. A common foul is a personal foul which is neither flagrant nor intentional, nor committed against a player trying or tapping for a field goal, nor a part of a double, simultaneous, or multiple foul. Article 3. An intentional foul is a personal or technical foul that may or may not be premeditated and is not based solely on the severity of the act. Intentional fouls include, but are not limited to: A. Contact that neutralizes an opponent's obvious advantageous position. B. Contact away from the ball with an opponent who is clearly not involved with a play. C. Contact that is not a legitimate attempt to play the ball or player specifically designed to stop the clock or keep it from starting. D. Excessive contact with an opponent while the ball is live or until an airborne shooter returns to the floor. E. Contact with a thrower, as in Rule 9.2.10, Penalty 4. Article 4. A flagrant foul may be a personal or technical foul of a violent or excessive nature, or a technical non-contact foul which displays unacceptable conduct. It may or may not be intentional. If personal, it involves but is not limited to violent contact, such as striking, kicking, and kneeing. If technical, it involves dead ball contact or non-contact conduct at any time which is extreme or persistent, vulgar, or abusive conduct. Fighting is a flagrant act. Article 5. A technical foul is A. A foul by a non-player. B. A non-contact foul by a player. C. An intentional or flagrant contact foul while the ball is dead, except a foul by an airborne shooter. D. A direct technical charged to the head coach because of the head coach's actions, as in Rule 10.6. An indirect technical charged to the head coach as a result of a bench technical foul being assessed to team bench personnel, as in 10.5. Article 6. A player control foul is a common foul committed by a player while in control of the ball or by an airborne shooter. Article 7. A team control foul is a common foul committed by a member of the team that has team control or by a member of the throw-in team from the start of the throw-in until player control is obtained in bounds. Article 8. Double fouls. A. A double personal foul is a situation in which two opponents commit personal fouls against each other at approximately the same time. B. A double technical foul is a situation in which two opponents commit technical fouls against each other at approximately the same time. Article 9. A false double foul is a situation in which there are fouls by both teams, the second of which occurs before the clock is started following the first, and such that at least one of the attributes of a double foul is absent. Article 10. A simultaneous foul, personal or technical, by opponents is a situation in which there is a foul by both teams, which occurs at approximately the same time, but are not committed by opponents against each other. Article 11. A multiple foul is a situation in which two or more teammates commit personal fouls against the same opponent at approximately the same time. Article 12. A false multiple foul is a situation in which there are two or more fouls by the same team and the last foul is committed before the clock is started following the first, and at least one of the attributes of a multiple foul is absent. Article 13. A team foul is any personal foul or technical foul except indirect technical fouls, which is charged to either team. All team fouls are counted to reach the bonus free throws for the quarter in which they are assessed. Article 14. An unsporting foul is a non-contact technical foul which consists of unfair, unethical, dishonorable conduct or any behavior not in accordance with the spirit of fair play. Section 20. Free throw. Article 1. A free throw is the opportunity given a player to score 1 point by an unhindered try for goal from within the free throw semicircle and behind the free throw line. Article 2. The free throw begins when the ball is at the disposal of the free thrower. Article 3. The free throw ends when the try is successful, when it is certain the try will not be successful, when the try touches the floor or any player, or when the ball becomes dead. Section 21. Fumble. A fumble is the accidental loss of player control when the ball unintentionally drops or slips from a player's grasp. Section 22. Goaltending. Goaltending occurs when, Article 1, a player touches the ball during a try or tap for field goal while the ball is in its downward flight entirely above the basket ring level, has the possibility of entering the basket in flight, and is not touching the basket cylinder. Article 2, a player touches the ball outside the cylinder during a free throw attempt. Section 23. Guarding. Article 1. Guarding is the act of legally placing the body in the path of an offensive opponent. There is no minimum distance required between the guard and opponent, but the maximum is 6 feet when closely guarded. Every player is entitled to a spot on the playing court, provided such player gets there first without illegally contacting an opponent. A player who extends an arm, shoulder, hip, or leg into the path of an opponent is not considered to have a legal position if contact occurs. Article 2. To obtain an initial legal guarding position, A. The guard shall have both feet touching the playing court. B. The front of the guard's torso shall be facing the opponent. Article 3. After the initial legal guarding position is obtained, A. The guard may have one or both feet on the playing court or be airborne, provided the guard has inbound status. B. The guard is not required to continue facing the opponent. C. The guard may move laterally or obliquely to main position provided it is not toward the opponent when contact occurs. D. The guard may raise hands or jump within the guard's own vertical plane. E. The guard may turn or duck to absorb the shock of imminent contact. Article 4. Guarding an opponent with the ball or a stationary opponent without the ball. A. No time or distance is required to obtain an initial legal position. B. If the opponent with the ball is airborne, the guard shall have obtained legal position before the opponent left the floor. Article 5. Guarding a moving opponent without the ball. A. Time and distance are factors required to obtain an initial legal position. B. The guard shall give the opponent the time and or distance to avoid contact. C. The distance need not be more than 2 strides. D. If the opponent is airborne, the guard shall have obtained legal position before the opponent left the floor. Section 24. Hands and arms, legal and illegal use. Article 1. It is legal to extend the arms vertically above the shoulders and need not be lowered to avoid contact with an opponent when the action of the opponent causes contact. This legal use of the arms and hands usually occurs when guarding the player making a throw-in, the player with the ball in pressing tactics, and a player with the ball who is maneuvering to try for goal by pivoting, jumping, etc. Article 2. It is legal use of the hands to reach to block or slap the ball controlled by a dribbler, or a player throwing for goal, or a player holding it and accidentally hitting the hand of the opponent when it is in contact with the ball. Article 3. It is legal to hold the hands and arms in front of the face or body for protection and to absorb force from an imminent charge by an opponent. The same protective use of the arms and hands occurs when a player who has set a screen outside the opponent's visual field is about to be run into by the player being screened. The action, however, should be a recoil action rather than a pushing action. Article 4. It is not legal to use hands and arms or hips and shoulders to force through a screen or to hold the screener and then push the screener aside in order to maintain a guarding position relative to the opponent. Article 5. It is not legal to use hands on an opponent which in any way inhibits the freedom of movement of the opponent or acts as an aid to a player in starting or stopping. Article 6. It is not legal to extend the arms fully or partially in a position other than vertical so that the freedom of movement of an opponent is hindered when contact with the arm occurs. The extension of the elbows when the hands are on the hips or when the hands are held near the chest or when the arms are held more or less horizontally are examples of the illegal positions used. Article 7. It is not legal to use the hand and/or forearm to prevent an opponent from attacking the ball during a dribble or when throwing for goal. Article 8. It is not legal to swing arms and elbows excessively. This occurs when a. Arms and elbows are swung about while using the shoulders as pivots, and the speed of the extended arms and elbows is in excess of the rest of the body as it rotates on the hips or on the pivot foot. B. The aggressiveness with which the arms and elbows are swung could cause injury to another player if contacted. Using this description as a basis, an official will promptly and unhesitatingly rule such action with arms and elbows a violation. Article 9. It is not legal to lock arms or grasp a teammate in an effort to restrict the movement of an opponent. Section 25. Held ball. A held ball occurs when, Article 1, opponents have their hands so firmly on the ball that control cannot be obtained without undue roughness. Article 2, an opponent places a hand or hands on the ball and prevents an airborne player from throwing the ball or releasing it on a try or tap for field goal. Section 26. Holding. Holding is illegal personal contact with an opponent which interferes with the opponent's freedom of movement. Section 27. Incidental contact. Incidental contact is contact with an opponent which is permitted and which does not constitute a foul. Article 1. The mere fact that contact occurs does not constitute a foul. When 10 players are moving rapidly in a limited area, some contact is certain to occur. Article 2. Contact which may result when opponents are in equally favorable positions to perform normal defensive or offensive movements should not be considered illegal even though the contact may be severe. Article 3. Contact which does not hinder the opponent from participating in normal defensive or offensive movements should be considered incidental. Article 4. A player who is screened within the player's visual field is expected to avoid contact with the screener by stopping or going around the screener. In cases of screens outside the visual field, the opponent may make inadvertent contact with the screener, and such contact is to be ruled incidental contact provided the screener is not displaced if the screener has the ball. Article 5. If a player approaches an opponent from behind or from a position from which the player has no reasonable chance to play the ball without making contact with the opponent, the responsibility is on the player in the unfavorable position. Section 28. Jump ball. Article 1. A jump ball is a method of putting the ball into play to start the game and each extra period by tossing it up between two opponents in the center restraining circle, or as in Rule 7.3, before the alternating possession procedure has been established. Article 2. The jump ball begins when the ball leaves the official's hands and ends when the touched ball contacts a non-jumper, an official, or the floor. Section 29. Kicking the ball. Kicking the ball is intentionally striking it with any part of the leg or foot. Section 30. Multiple throw. A multiple throw is a succession of free throws attempted by the same team. Section 31. Pass. A pass is a movement of the ball caused by a player who throws, bats, or rolls the ball to another player. Section 32. Penalty. A penalty is an action assessed by an official to a player or team for a rules infraction. See Rules 9 and 10. Section 33. Pivot. A pivot takes place when a player who is holding the ball steps once or more than once in any direction with the same foot, while the other foot, called the pivot foot, is kept at its point of contact with the floor. Section 34. Players, bench personnel, substitutes, and team members. Article 1. A player is one of 5 team members who are legally on the court at any given time, except intermission. Article 2. Bench personnel are all individuals who are part of or affiliated with a team, including, but not limited to, substitutes, coaches, managers, and statisticians. During an intermission, all team members are bench personnel for the purpose of penalizing unsporting behavior. Article 3. A substitute becomes a player when the substitute legally enters the court. If entry is not legal, the substitute becomes a player when the ball becomes live. A player becomes bench personnel after the substitute becomes a player or after notification of the coach following the player's disqualification. Article 4. A team member is a member of bench personnel who is in uniform and is eligible to become a player. Section 35. Player location or status. Article 1. The location or status of a player or non-player is determined by where the person is touching the floor as far as being A. in bounds or out of bounds, B. in the front court or back court, C. outside or behind or beyond, or inside the three-point field goal line. Article 2. When a player is touching the backcourt, out of bounds, or the three-point line, the player is located in the backcourt, out of bounds, or inside the three-point line, respectively. Article 3. The location or status of an airborne player with reference to the three factors of Article 1 is the same as at the time such player was last in contact with the floor or an extension of the floor, such as a bleacher. Section 36. Point of interruption. Article 1. Method of resuming play due to an official's inadvertent whistle, an interrupted game as in Rule 544, a correctable error as in Rule 210.6, a double personal, double technical, or simultaneous foul as in Rules 419.8 and 419.10. Article 2. Play shall be resumed by one of the following methods. A. A throw-in to the team that was in control, 1. In the front court at one of the four designated spots nearest to where the ball was located when the interruption occurred. Diagram 5. 2. In the back court at an out-of-bounds spot nearest to where the ball was located when the interruption occurred. B. A free throw or a throw-in when the interruption occurred during this activity or if a team is entitled to such. C. A jump ball or alternating possession throw-in when neither team is in control and no goal, infraction, nor end of quarter or extra period is involved when the game is interrupted. Article 3. When the ball remains live after a violation or foul, as in Rule 419.8 during a try or tap for field goal, the point of interruption is determined to be when the ball becomes dead following the violation or foul. Section 37. Rebounding. Article 1. Rebounding is an attempt by any player to secure possession of the ball following a try or tap for field goal. In a rebounding situation, there is no player or team control. Article 2. To obtain or maintain legal rebounding position, a player may not A. Displace, charge, or push an opponent. B. Extend shoulders, hips, knees, or extend the arms or elbows fully or partially in a position other than vertical so that the freedom of movement of an opponent is hindered when contact with the arms or elbows occurs. C. Bend the body in an abnormal position to hold or displace an opponent. D. Violate the principle of verticality. Article 3. Every player is entitled to a spot on the playing court, provided the player gets there first without illegally contacting an opponent. Section 38. Resumption of play procedure. The resumption of play procedure is used to prevent delay in putting the ball in play when a throw-in team does not make a thrower available or following a timeout or intermission unless either team is not on the court to start the second half, as in Rules 751 and 812. The procedure results in a violation instead of a technical foul for initial delay in specific situations. Section 39. Rule. Article 1. A rule is one of a group of regulations which governs the game. Article 2. A game regulation, commonly called a rule, sometimes states or implies that the ball is dead or a foul or violation is involved. If it does not, it is assumed the ball is live and no foul or violation has occurred to affect the situation. Article 3. A single infraction is not complicated by a second infraction unless so stated or implied. Section 40. Screen. Article 1. A screen is legal action by a player who, while touching the playing court without causing contact, delays or prevents an opponent from reaching a desired position. Article 2. To establish a legal screening position. A. The screener may face any direction. B. Time and distance are relevant. C. The screener shall be stationary except when both the screener and opponent are moving in the same path and the same direction. D. The screener shall stay within the screener's vertical plane with a stance approximately shoulder width apart. Article 3. When screening a stationary opponent from the front or side within the visual field, the screener may be anywhere short of contact. Article 4. When screening a stationary opponent from behind, outside the visual field, the screener shall allow the opponent one normal step backward without contact. Article 5. When screening a moving opponent, the screener shall allow the opponent time and distance to avoid contact by stopping or changing direction. The speed of the player to be screened will determine where the screener may take a stationary position. The position will vary and may be 1 to 2 normal steps or strides from the opponent. Article 6. When screening an opponent who is moving in the same path and direction as the screener, the player behind is responsible if contact is made because the player in front slows up or stops and the player behind overruns the opponent. Article 7. A player who is screened within the player's visual field is expected to avoid contact by going around the screener. In cases of screens outside the visual field, the opponent may make inadvertent contact with the screener, and if the opponent is running rapidly, the contact may be severe. Such a case is to be ruled as incidental contact, provided the opponent stops or attempts to stop on contact and moves around the screen, and provided the screener is not displaced if the screener has the ball. Article 8. A player may not use the arms, hands, hips, or shoulders to force through a screen or to hold the screener and then push the screener aside in order to maintain a guarding position on an opponent. Section 41. Shooting, try, tap. Article 1. The act of shooting begins simultaneously with the start of the try or tap for field goal and ends when the ball is clearly in flight and includes the airborne shooter. Article 2. A try for field goal is an attempt by a player to score 2 or 3 points by throwing the ball into a team's own basket. A player is trying for goal when the player has the ball and, in the official's judgment, is throwing or attempting to throw for goal. It is not essential that the ball leave the player's hand, as a foul could prevent release of the ball. Article 3. The try starts when the player begins the motion which habitually precedes the release of the ball. Article 4. The try ends when the throw is successful, when it is certain the throw is unsuccessful, when the thrown ball touches the floor, or when the ball becomes dead. Article 5. A tap for field goal is the contacting of the ball with any part of the player's hands in an attempt to direct the ball into the basket. Article 6. A tap for field goal shall be considered the same as a try for field goal, except as in Rule 525. Article 7. The tap for field goal starts when the player's hands touch the ball. Article 8. The tap for field goal ends in exactly the same manner as a try. Section 42. Throw-in, thrower, designated spot. Article 1. The thrower is the player who attempts to make a throw-in. Article 2. A throw-in is a method of putting the ball in play from out of bounds. Article 3. The throw-in and the throw-in count begin when the ball is at the disposal of a player of the team entitled to it. Article 4. The throw-in count ends when the ball is released by the thrower, so the passed ball goes directly into the court. Article 5. The throw-in ends when A. The passed ball touches or is legally touched by another player in bounds. B. The passed ball touches or is touched by another player out of bounds, except as in Rule 757. C. The throw-in team commits a throw-in violation. Article 6. The designated throw-in spot is 3 feet wide with no depth limitation and is established and signaled by the official prior to putting the ball at the thrower's disposal. Note, the thrower shall keep 1 foot on or over the designated spot until the ball is released. The traveling and dribbling rules are not in effect for a throw-in. Section 43. Timeout. Article 1. A 60-second timeout charged to a team is a maximum of 1 minute in length. A 30-second timeout charged to a team is a maximum 30 seconds in length. A warning is sounded 15 seconds prior to the expiration of the 30 or 60 seconds. Article 2. A successive timeout is one which is granted to either team before the clock has started following the previous timeout. Section 44. Traveling. Traveling is moving a foot or feet in any direction in excess of prescribed limits while holding the ball. The limits on foot movement are as follows. Article 1. A player who catches the ball with both feet on the floor may pivot using either foot. When one foot is lifted, the other is the pivot foot. Article 2. A player who catches the ball while moving or dribbling may stop and establish a pivot foot as follows. A. If both feet are off the floor and the player lands, 1. Simultaneously on both feet, either foot may be the pivot. 2. On one foot followed by the other, the first foot to touch is the pivot. 3. On one foot, the player may jump off that foot and simultaneously land on both. Neither foot can be a pivot in this case. B. If one foot is on the floor, 1. It is the pivot when the other foot touches in a step. 2. The player may jump off that foot and simultaneously land on both. Neither foot can be a pivot in this case. Article 3. After coming to a stop and establishing a pivot foot, A. The pivot foot may be lifted but not returned to the floor before the ball is released on a pass or try for goal. B. If the player jumps, neither foot may be returned to the floor before the ball is released on a pass or try for goal. C. The pivot foot may not be lifted before the ball is released to start a dribble. Article 4. After coming to a stop when neither foot can be a pivot, A. One or both feet may be lifted but may not be returned to the floor before the ball is released on a pass or try for goal. B. Neither foot may be lifted before the ball is released to start a dribble. Article 5. A player holding the ball, A. may not touch the floor with a knee or any other part of the body other than the hand or foot. B. After gaining control while on the floor and touching with other than the hand or foot, may not attempt to get up or stand. Section 45. Verticality. Verticality applies to a legal position. Following are the basic components of the principle of verticality. Article 1. Legal guarding position shall be obtained initially and movement thereafter shall be legal. Article 2. From this position the defender may rise or jump vertically and occupy the space within the defender's vertical plane. Article 3. The hands and arms of the defender may be raised within the defender's vertical plane while on the floor or in the air. Article 4. The defender should not be penalized for leaving the floor vertically or having hands and arms extended within the defender's vertical plane. Article 5. The offensive player, whether on the floor or airborne, may not clear out or cause contact with the defender's vertical plane, which is a foul. Article 6. The defender may not belly up or use the lower part of the body or arms to cause contact outside the defender's vertical plane, which is a foul. Article 7. The player with the ball is to be given no more protection or consideration than the defender in judging which player has violated the rules. Section 46. Violation. A violation is one of three types of rule infractions which are listed and the penalty outlined in Rules 9.1 through 13. Following are the types of violations. Article 1. Type 1. Floor violations, including basket interference by a teammate of the player attempting a field goal or free throw, or goaltending a field goal, and other violations which are not connected with a free throw or try or tap for field goal. Article 2. Type 2. Basket interference, or goaltending by a player at the opponent's basket. Article 3. Type 3. Free throw violations other than those involving basket interference or goaltending. Section 47. Warning for delay. A warning to a team for delay is an administrative procedure by an official which is recorded in the scorebook by the scorer and reported to the head coach. Article 1. For throw-in plane violations, as in Rules 9.2.10 and 10.2.1c. Article 2. For huddle by either team and contact with the free thrower, as in Rule 10.2.1d. Article 3. For interfering with the ball following a goal, as in 10.2.1e. Article 4. For failure to have the court ready for play following any timeout, as in Rule 10.2.1f. Section 48. Warning for coach or team conduct. A warning to a head coach or bench personnel for misconduct is an administrative procedure by an official which is recorded in the scorebook by the scorer and reported to the head coach. Article 1. For conduct such as that described in Rule 10.5, Articles 1, A, B, D, E, and F, Articles 2 and 4, the official shall warn the head coach unless the offense is judged to be major, in which case a technical foul shall be assessed. Note, a warning is not required prior to calling a technical foul. Article 2. For the first violation of Rule 10.6.1, the official shall warn the head coach unless the offense is judged to be major, in which case a technical foul shall be assessed. Note, a warning is not required prior to calling a technical foul. Rule 5. Scoring and timing regulations. Section 1. Goal. Article 1. A goal is made when a live ball enters the basket from above and remains in or passes through. No goal is scored if an untouched throw-in goes through the basket. Article 2. Whether the clock is running or stopped has no influence on the counting of a goal. If a player control foul occurs before or after a goal, the goal is cancelled. Section 2. Scoring. Article 1. A successful try, tap, or thrown ball from the field by a player who is located behind the team's own 19-foot, 9-inch arc counts as 3 points. A ball that touches the floor, a teammate inside the arc, an official, or any other goal from the field counts 2 points for the team into whose basket the ball is thrown. See Rule 454. Article 2. A goal from a free throw counts as 1 point for the free thrower's team and is credited to the free thrower, as in Rule 421. Article 3. If a player scores a field goal in the opponent's basket, it is not credited to a player, but is indicated in a footnote. See Rule 454. Article 4. The only infractions for which points are awarded are goaltending by the defense or basket interference at the opponent's basket. Article 5. When play is resumed with a throw-in or free throw and 3/10 of a second or less remain on the clock, a player may not gain control of the ball and try for a field goal. In this situation, only a tap could score. Note, this rule does not apply if the clock does not display tenths of a second. Section 3. Winning team. The winning team is the one which has accumulated the greater number of points when the game ends, as in Rule 224. Section 4. Forfeiture, protest, and interrupted game. Article 1. Unless state association rules determine otherwise, a game shall be declared a forfeit when a. A team refuses to play after being instructed to do so by an official. b. A coach is removed from the premises for unsporting conduct and no authorized school personnel is present to assume responsibility for the team. c. Any player, team member, bench personnel, or coach fails to comply with any technical foul penalty or repeatedly commits technical foul infractions or other acts which make a travesty of the game. Article 2. If the team to which the game is forfeited is ahead, the score at the end of forfeiture must stand. If this team is not ahead, the score must be recorded as 2-0 in its favor. Article 3. The NFHS Basketball Rules Committee does not recognize protests. Article 4. Whenever a game is interrupted because of events beyond the control of the responsible administrative authorities, it shall be continued from the point of interruption unless the teams agree to terminate the game with the existing score, or there are conference, league, or state association rules to cover the situation. Section 5. Length of quarter. Article 1. Playing time for teams of high school age shall be 4 quarters of 8 minutes each with intermissions of 1 minute after the first and third quarters, and 10 minutes between halves. The halftime intermission may be extended to a maximum of 15 minutes for special activities, provided home management has properly notified the visiting team prior to the start of the game. Article 2. An organization sponsoring games involving teams which combine 9th grade students with students in the 8th and or 7th grades may play those games in quarters of 8 minutes. Article 3. A quarter may be shortened in an emergency or at any time by mutual agreement of the opposing coaches and the referee. Note, by state association adoption, a running clock may be instituted when a specified point differential is reached at a specified time in the game. Section 6. Beginning, ending a quarter or extra period. Article 1. Each quarter or extra period begins when the ball first becomes live. Article 2. Each quarter or extra period ends when the signal illuminates or sounds indicating time has expired, as in Rule 114. Exceptions. If the ball is in flight during a try or tap for field goal, the quarter or extra period ends when the try or tap ends. 2. If a held ball or violation occurs so near the expiration of time that the clock is not stopped before time expires, the quarter or extra period ends with the held ball or violation. 3. If a foul occurs so near the expiration of time that the timer cannot get the clock stopped before time expires or after time expires, but while the ball is in flight during a try or tap for field goal, the quarter or extra period ends when the free throws and all related activity have been completed. No penalty or part of a penalty carries over from one quarter or extra period to the next, except when a correctable error, as in Rule 210, is rectified. No free throws shall be attempted after time has expired for the fourth quarter or any extra period, unless the points would affect the outcome of the game. 4. If a technical foul occurs after the ball becomes dead to end a quarter or extra period, the next quarter or extra period is started by administering the free throws. If the fourth quarter or extra period ends and the score is tied, the free throws will start the extra period. If the score is not tied, and the results of the free throws would tie or win the game, the free throws are administered as part of the preceding quarter or period. Section 7. Extra period. Article 1. If the score is tied at the end of the fourth quarter, play shall continue without change of baskets for one or more extra periods with a 1-minute intermission before each extra period. Article 2. The game ends if, at the end of any extra period, the score is not tied. Article 3. The length of each extra period shall be 4 minutes, or half the time of a regulation quarter for non-varsity contests. As many such periods as are necessary to break the tie shall be played. Extra periods are an extension of the fourth quarter. Article 4. Once the ball becomes live in the extra period, it will be played even though a correction in the fourth quarter score is made. Section 8. Timeout, stopping play. Timeout occurs, and the clock, if running, shall be stopped when an official, Article 1, signals A. A foul, B. A held ball, C. A violation, D. A timeout. Article 2. Stops play, A. Because of an injury as in Rule 336, 337, and 338. B. To confer with the scorer or timer. C. Because of unusual delay in getting a dead ball live. D. For any other situations or any emergency. Note, when a player is injured, as in Article 2A, the official may suspend play after the ball is dead or is in control of the injured player's team, or when the opponents complete a play. A play is completed when a team loses control, including throwing for goal, or withholds the ball from play by ceasing to attempt to score or advance the ball to a scoring position. When necessary to protect an injured player, the official may immediately stop play. Article 3. Grants and signals a player's or head coach's oral or visual request for a timeout, such request being granted only when A. The ball is at the disposal or in control of a player of the same team. B. The ball is dead unless replacement of a disqualified or injured player or a player directed to leave the game is pending and a substitute is available and required. Article 4. Responds to the scorer's signal to grant a coach's request that a correctable error, as in Rule 210, or a timing, scoring, or alternate possession mistake be prevented or rectified. The appeal to the official shall be presented at the scorer's table where a coach of each team may be present. Section 9. Restarting the clock. Article 1. After time has been out, the clock shall be started when the official signals the clock to start. If the official neglects to signal, the timer is authorized to start the clock as per rule, unless an official specifically signals continued timeout. Article 2. If play is started or resumed by a jump ball, the clock shall be started when the tossed ball is legally touched. Article 3. If a free throw is not successful and the ball is to remain live, the clock shall be started when the ball touches or is touched by a player on the court. Article 4. If play is resumed by a throw-in, the clock shall be started when the ball touches or is legally touched by a player on the court after it is released by the thrower. Section 10. Timing mistakes. Article 1. The referee may correct an obvious mistake by the timer to start or stop the clock properly only when the referee has definite information relative to the time involved. The exact time observed by the official may be placed on the clock. Article 2. If the referee determines the clock malfunctioned or was not started or stopped properly, or if the clock did not run, an official's count or other official information may be used to make a correction. Section 11. Charged timeouts. Article 1. 3 60-second and 2 30-second timeouts may be charged to each team during a regulation game. Each team is entitled to one additional 60-second timeout during each extra period. Unused timeouts accumulate and may be used at any time. Note: state associations may determine the number of electronic media timeouts for games which are transmitted and may reduce the number of charged timeouts. Article 2. A single 60-second timeout charged to a team shall not exceed 1 minute and shall be conducted within the confines of the timeout area. A warning signal for the teams to prepare to resume play is sounded with 15 seconds remaining. Such a timeout shall not be reduced in length unless both teams are ready to play before the timeout is over. Article 3. A single 30-second charged timeout shall not exceed 30 seconds, and players shall remain standing within the timeout area. A warning signal for teams to prepare to resume play is sounded with 15 seconds remaining. No on-court entertainment shall occur during this time. Article 4. Only one 60-second timeout is charged, or one 30-second timeout, if that is the only type of timeout remaining, in Rule 584, regardless of the amount of time consumed when no correction is made. Exception: no timeout is charged, A, if in Rule 583 the player's request results from displaced eyeglasses or lens. B, if in Rule 584 the error or mistake is prevented or rectified. Article 5. A timeout shall not be granted until after the ball has become live to start the game. The additional 60-second timeout provided for each extra period shall not be granted until after the ball has become live to start the extra period. Article 6. Timeouts in excess of the allotted number may be requested and shall be granted during regulation playing time or any extra period at the expense of a technical foul for each, as in Rule 10.2.3. Article 7. Successive timeouts, as in Rule 4.43.2, shall not be granted after the expiration of playing time for the fourth quarter or any extra period. In all other instances, they shall be administered in the order in which they were requested. Article 8. Timeouts simultaneously requested by opposing teams or those requested to keep players in the game that were directed to leave for injury or blood, as in Rules 3.3.6 and 3.3.7 notes, shall be granted, charged to the respective team and administered concurrently. When one team is charged with a 60-second timeout and the other with a 30-second timeout, the duration shall be 60 seconds. Rule 6. Live ball and dead ball. Section 1. Live ball. Article 1. The game and each extra period shall be started by a jump ball in the center restraining circle. After any subsequent dead ball, the only way to get the ball live is to resume play by a jump ball in the center restraining circle, by a throw-in, or by a free throw. The dribble and traveling rules are not in effect in these situations. Article 2. The ball becomes live when A. On a jump ball, the tossed ball leaves the official's hand. B. On a throw-in, it is at the disposal of the thrower. C. On a free throw, it is at the disposal of the free thrower. Note: any rule statement is made on the assumption that no infraction is involved unless mentioned or implied. If such infraction occurs, the rule governing it is followed. For example, a game or extra period will not start with a jump ball if a foul occurs before the ball becomes live. Section 2. Starting game or quarter or extra period. Article 1. The game, quarter, and each extra period begins when the ball becomes live as specified in Rule 6.1.2 for a jump ball, throw-in, or free throw. Article 2. To start the game and each extra period, the ball shall be put in play in the center restraining circle by a jump ball between any two opponents. Article 3. To start the second, third, and fourth quarters, the ball shall be put in play by a throw-in under the alternating possession procedure. Section 3. Jump Ball Administration. Article 1. For any jump ball, each jumper shall have both feet within that half of the center restraining circle which is farther from the jumper's basket. Article 2. When the official is ready, and until the ball is tossed, non-jumpers shall not A. Move on to the center restraining circle, B. Change position around the center restraining circle. Article 3. Teammates may not occupy adjacent positions around the center restraining circle if an opponent indicates a desire for one of these positions before the official is ready to toss the ball. Article 4. The ball shall be tossed upward between the jumpers in a plane at right angles to the sidelines. The toss shall be to a height greater than either of them can jump so that it will drop between them. Article 5. Until the tossed ball is touched by one or both players, non-jumpers shall not A. Have either foot break the plane of the center restraining circle cylinder, B. Take a position in any occupied space. Article 6. The tossed ball shall be touched by one or both of the jumpers after it reaches its highest point. If the ball contacts the floor without being touched by at least one of the jumpers, the official shall toss it again. Article 7. Neither jumper shall A. Touch the tossed ball before it reaches its highest point. B. Leave the center restraining circle until the ball has been touched. C. Catch the ball before the jump ends. D. Touch the ball more than twice. Article 8. The jump ball and the restrictions in Rule 637 end when the touched ball contacts one of the 8 non-jumpers, an official, or the floor. Note: during a jump ball, a jumper is not required to face the jumper's own basket, provided the jumper is in the proper half of the center restraining circle. The jumper is also not required to jump and attempt to touch the tossed ball. However, if neither jumper touches the ball, it should be tossed again with both jumpers being ordered to jump and try to touch the ball. Section 4. Alternating Possession. Article 1. Other than the start of the game and each extra period, the teams will alternate taking the ball out of bounds for a throw-in. The team obtaining control from the jump ball establishes the alternating possession procedure, and the arrow is set toward the opponent's basket. Control may also be established by the results of a violation or foul, as in Rule 4.3. Article 2. To start the second, third, and fourth quarters, the throw-in shall be from out of bounds at the division line opposite the scorers and timers table. Article 3. Alternating possession throw-ins shall be from A. One of the 4 designated spots nearest to where the ball was located if possession is retained or gained in the team's front court. B. The out-of-bounds spot nearest to where the ball was located if possession is retained or gained in the team's backcourt. Article 4. An alternating possession throw-in shall result when A. A held ball occurs. B. The ball goes out of bounds as in Rule 7.3. C. Simultaneous floor or free throw violations occur. D. A live ball lodges between the backboard and ring or comes to rest on the flange unless a free throw or throw-in follows. E. Opponents commit simultaneous basket interference violations. F. The point of interruption cannot be determined, as in Rule 436(2)(c). Note: when the alternating possession procedure has not been established, the jump ball shall be in the center restraining circle between the 2 players involved in the previous action. Article 5. The direction of the possession arrow is reversed immediately after an alternating possession throw-in ends. An alternating possession throw-in ends when the throw-in ends, as in Rule 442(5). Article 6. The opportunity to make an alternating possession throw-in is lost if the throw-in team violates. If either team fouls during an alternating possession throw-in, it does not cause the throw-in team to lose the possession arrow. If the defensive team commits a violation during the throw-in, the possession arrow is not switched. Section 5. Ball in play by throw-in. The ball shall be put in play by a throw-in under circumstances as outlined in Rules 641, 642, 644, Rules 7.1 through 7.6, Rule 8.5, and Rules 9.1 through 9.13. Section 6. Ball in play by free throw. The ball shall be put in play by placing it at the disposal of the free thrower before each free throw. Section 7. Dead ball. The ball becomes dead or remains dead when Article 1. A goal, as in Rule 5.1, is made. Article 2. It is apparent the free throw will not be successful on A. Free throw which is to be followed by another free throw. B. Free throw which is to be followed by a throw-in. Article 3. A held ball occurs, or the ball lodges between the backboard and ring, or comes to rest on the flange. Article 4. A player control or team control foul occurs. Article 5. An official's whistle is blown. See exceptions A and B below. Article 6. Time expires for a quarter or extra period. See exception A below. Article 7. A foul other than player control or team control occurs. See exceptions A, B, and C below. Article 8. A free throw violation by the throwing team, as in Rule 9.1, occurs. Article 9. A violation, as in Rules 9.2 through 13, occurs. See exception D below. Exception. The ball does not become dead until the try or tap for field goal ends or until the airborne shooter returns to the floor when A. Article 5, 6, or 7 occurs while a try or tap for a field goal is in flight. B. Article 5 or 7 occurs while a try or free throw is in flight. C. Article 7 occurs by any opponent of a player who has started a try or tap for field goal, is in the act of shooting, before the foul occurred, provided time did not expire before the ball was in flight. The trying motion shall be continuous and begins after the ball comes to a rest in the player's hands on a try or touches the hand on a tap, and is completed when the ball is clearly in flight. The trying motion may include arm, foot, or body movements used by the player when throwing the ball at the player's basket. D. Article 9, as in Rules 9.3.3 or 9.13.1, occurs by an opponent. Note: if A1's try or tap for field goal is legally touched in flight, the goal counts if made, if the period or quarter ends before or after the legal touching. If the touching is interference or goaltending by Team A, no points are scored. If Team B violates, the points are awarded, either 2 or 3, depending on whether it was a 2 or 3-point try or tap for field goal. Rule 7. Out of bounds and the throw-in. Section 1. Out of bounds, player or ball. Article 1. A player is out of bounds when the player touches the floor or any object other than a player or person on or outside a boundary. For location or status of a player in the air, see Rule 435. Article 2. The ball is out of bounds, A, when it touches or is touched by 1. A player who is out of bounds, 2. Any other person, the floor, or any object on or outside a boundary, 3. The supports or back of the backboard, 4. The ceiling, overhead equipment, or supports, B. When it passes over a rectangular backboard. Section 2. Causing the ball to go out of bounds, individual player. Article 1. The ball is caused to go out of bounds by the last player in bounds to touch it or be touched by it, unless the ball touches a player who is out of bounds prior to touching something out of bounds other than a player. Article 2. If the ball is out of bounds because of touching or being touched by a player who is on or outside a boundary line, such player causes it to go out. Section 3. Causing the ball to go out of bounds simultaneously. Article 1. If the ball goes out of bounds and was last touched simultaneously by two opponents, both of whom are in bounds or out of bounds, or if the official is in doubt as to who last touched the ball, or if the officials disagree, play shall be resumed by the team entitled to the alternating possession throw-in at the spot out of bounds nearest to where the simultaneous violation occurred. Article 2. If the alternating possession procedure has not been established, play shall be resumed by a jump ball between the two players involved in the center restraining circle. Section 4. Ball awarded out of bounds. The ball is awarded out of bounds after Article 1. A violation, as in Rules 9.1 through 13. Article 2. A free throw for a technical foul or a flagrant or intentional personal foul, as in Rules 8.5.2 and 8.5.3. Article 3. A field goal or a successful free throw for any other personal foul, as in Rule 8.5.1, or an awarded goal, as in Rules 9.11 and 9.12. Article 4. The ball becomes dead while a team is in control, provided no infraction or the end of a quarter period is involved. Article 5. A player control or team control foul. Article 6. A common foul before the bonus rule is in effect. Article 7. A held ball, as in Rule 425, after the alternating possession arrow procedure has been established. Section 5. Resumption of play procedure, throw-ins. Article 1. When a team does not make a thrower available after a timeout, as in Rule 744, or the intermission between any quarter, as in Rule 623, the resumption of play procedure is used to prevent delay. The administering official will sound the whistle to indicate play will resume. In each situation, A. The ball shall be put in play if Team A is ready, or it shall be placed on the floor. B. The throw-in count shall begin, and if a violation occurs, the procedure will be repeated for Team B. C. Following a violation by one team only, if that team continues to delay when authorized to make a throw-in, it is a technical foul. D. Following a violation by both teams, any further delay by either team is a technical foul. Article 2. After an out-of-bounds violation in either the front court or the back court by either team, as in 9-3, the throw-in shall be at the designated spot nearest to where the ball went out of bounds. Article 3. After a violation, as in 9-4 through 9-13 by either team, a foul by either team before the bonus is in effect, or any other stoppage in play, the throw-in location will be determined by the location of the violation foul or the location of the ball when the stoppage occurs. A. If the throw-in is to be in the team's front court, it shall be at either the nearest 28-foot mark along each sideline or the nearest spot 3 feet outside the lane line along the end line. B. If the throw-in is to be in the team's back court, the throw-in shall be at the designated spot nearest to where the foul, violation, or other stoppage in play occurred. Article 4. Officials shall determine the designated spot by using an imaginary line drawn from the intersection of the end line with the sideline to each lane line where it intersects with the free throw line, including the semicircle. If the stoppage of play occurs inside the imaginary line, the designated spot shall be the nearest point on the end line 3 feet outside the lane line. If the stoppage occurs outside the imaginary line, the designated spot shall be the nearest sideline at the 28-foot line. Article 5. Designated out-of-bounds spot throw-in behind the backboard shall be made from the nearer free throw lane line extended. Article 6. Designated out-of-bounds spot throw-in at the division line opposite the scorers and timers table, A. After a technical foul, as in Rule 4:19:5, any player of the team to whom the free throws have been awarded shall make the throw-in. B. For an alternating possession throw-in to start the second, third, and fourth quarters, any player from the team with the possession arrow shall make the throw-in. Article 7. A throw-in anywhere along the end line after a goal or an awarded goal for basket interference or goaltending by a defensive player, as in Rule 9:12, Penalty 1, the team not credited with the score shall make a throw-in from the end of the court where the goal was made and from any point outside the end line. The officials shall signal such. A. Any player of the team may make a direct throw-in or may pass the ball along the end line to a teammate outside the boundary. B. A team retains this privilege if the scoring team commits a violation or common foul before the throw-in ends and before the bonus rule is in effect, and the ensuing throw-in spot would have been on the end line. Section 6. Throw-in Administration. Article 1. The official shall hand or bounce the ball to the thrower for a throw-in unless the throw-in is from outside an end line following a successful goal. Article 2. The throw-in begins when the ball is at the disposal of a player of the team entitled to the throw-in. The thrower shall release the ball on a pass directly into the court, except as in Rule 575, within 5 seconds after the throw-in begins. The throw-in pass shall touch another player, in bounds or out of bounds, on the court before going out of bounds untouched. The throw-in pass shall not touch a teammate while it is on the out-of-bounds side of the throw-in boundary plane. Article 3. The thrower shall not leave the designated throw-in spot until the ball has been released on a throw-in pass. See Rule 442.6. Article 4. The opponent of the thrower shall not have any body part through the inbound side of the throw-in boundary plane until the ball has been released on a throw-in pass. See Rule 9.2.10 penalty. Note: The thrower shall have a minimum of 3 feet horizontally, as in Rule 122. If the court is not marked accordingly, an imaginary restraining line shall be imposed by the administering official. Article 5. Teammates shall not occupy adjacent positions which are parallel to and within 3 feet of the boundary line if an opponent desires one of the positions. The 3-foot restraining line is sometimes the temporary boundary line, as in Rule 122. Article 6. When an official administers a throw-in to the wrong team, the mistake shall be rectified before the first dead ball after the ball becomes live unless there has been a change of possession. Rule 8. Free throw. Section 1. Free throw administration. Article 1. When a free throw is awarded, the ball shall be placed at the disposal of the free thrower, or bounced, by the administering official, and the free throw count shall begin. Either or both teams may be charged with a violation. Article 2. Following a timeout or intermission, the resumption of play procedure may be used to prevent delay. The administering official shall sound the whistle to indicate play will resume. The ball shall be placed at the disposal of the thrower or placed on the floor at the free throw line, and the count shall begin. Either or both teams may be charged with a violation. Following a violation by one or both teams, if the offending teams continue to delay, a team technical foul shall be ruled. Article 3. If the ball is to become dead when the last free throw for a specific penalty is not successful, players shall not occupy any spaces along the free throw lane lines. Article 4. During a free throw, lane spaces may be occupied as follows. A. Marked lane spaces may be occupied by a maximum of 2 offensive players. 4 defensive players may occupy lane spaces. B. The first marked lane spaces on each side of the lane, above and adjacent to the first lane space marks, shall be occupied by opponents of the free thrower. No teammate of the free thrower shall occupy either of these marked lane spaces. The second marked lane spaces on each side may be occupied by teammates of the free thrower. The third marked lane spaces on each side nearest the free thrower may be occupied by the opponents of the free thrower. E. Players shall be permitted to move along and across the lane to occupy a vacant marked lane space within the limitations listed in this rule. Article 5. Any player other than the free thrower who does not occupy a marked lane space shall be behind the free throw line extended and behind the 3-point line. Section 2. Attempting personal foul free throws. The free throws awarded because of a personal foul shall be attempted by the offended player. If such player shall withdraw because of an injury or disqualification, the offended player's substitute shall attempt the throws unless no substitute is available, in which case any teammate may attempt the throws as selected by the team captain or head coach. Section 3. Attempting technical foul free throws. The free throws awarded because of a technical foul may be attempted by any player of the offended team, including an eligible substitute or designated starter. The coach or captain shall designate the free thrower. Section 4. 10-second limit. The try for goal shall be made within 10 seconds after the ball has been placed at the disposal of the free thrower at the free throw line. This shall apply to each free throw. Section 5. Resuming play with throw-in. After a free throw which is not followed by another free throw, the ball shall be put in play by a throw-in, Article 1, as after a field goal, as in Rule 757 if the try is for a personal foul other than intentional or flagrant and is successful. Article 2, by any player of the free thrower's team from out of bounds at the division line on the side opposite the scorer's and timer's table if the free throw is for a technical foul. Article 3, by any player of the free thrower's team from the out-of-bounds spot nearest the foul if the free throw is for an intentional personal foul or flagrant personal foul. Section 6. Resuming play differences. Article 1. If a free throw for a personal foul other than intentional or flagrant is unsuccessful, or if there is a multiple throw for a personal foul and the last free throw is unsuccessful, the ball remains live. Article 2. If there is a multiple throw and both a single personal and single technical foul are involved, the try shall be attempted in the order in which the related fouls occurred, and if the last try is for a single technical foul or intentional or flagrant personal foul, the ball shall be put in play by a throw-in. Article 3. If a false double foul involves any type of single foul and any type of double or simultaneous foul, play is resumed with the penalty for only the single foul, as if the double or simultaneous foul had not occurred. See Rule 436. Rule 9. Violations and Penalties. Section 1. Free throw provisions. Article 1. The try shall be attempted from within the free throw semicircle and behind the free throw line. Article 2. Teams shall properly occupy marked lane spaces according to number and space requirements. Article 3. After the ball is placed at the disposal of a free thrower, A. The free thrower shall throw within 10 seconds to cause the ball to enter the basket or touch the ring before the free throw ends. B. The free thrower shall not fake a try, nor shall any player in a marked lane space fake to cause an opponent to violate. C. No opponent shall distract the free thrower. D. No player shall enter a marked lane space or leave a marked lane space by contacting the court outside the 36-inch by 36-inch space until the ball is released. E. The free thrower shall not have either foot beyond the vertical plane of the edge of the free throw line which is farther from the basket, or the free throw line semicircle until the ball touches the ring or until the free throw ends. F. A player other than the free thrower who does not occupy a marked lane space may not have either foot beyond the vertical plane of the free throw line extended and the three-point line which is farther from the basket until the ball touches the ring or until the free throw ends. G. A player occupying a marked lane space may not have either foot beyond the vertical plane of the outside edge of any lane boundary, or beyond the vertical plane of any edge of the space, 2 inches by 36 inches, designated by lane space marks. A player shall position one foot near the outer edge of the free throw lane line. The other foot may be positioned anywhere within the designated 36-inch lane space until the ball has been released. H. Players occupying marked free throw lane line spaces may not enter the free throw semicircle until the ball touches the ring or until the free throw ends. Penalties. Section 1. 1. If the first or only violation is by the free thrower or a teammate, the ball becomes dead when the violation occurs and no point can be scored by that throw. The following out-of-bounds provisions apply if no further free throws are to be administered. A. If the violation occurs during a free throw for a personal foul, other than intentional or flagrant, the ball is awarded to the opponents for a throw-in from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. B. If the violation occurs during a free throw for a technical foul, the ball is awarded to the thrower's team for a throw-in at the division line on the side of the court opposite the scorer's and timer's table. C. If the violation occurs during a free throw for a flagrant personal foul or an intentional personal foul, the ball is awarded to the thrower's team for a throw-in from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the foul. 2. If the violation is by the free thrower's opponent only. A. If the try is successful, the goal counts and the violation is disregarded. B. If the try is not successful, the ball becomes dead when the free throw ends, and a substitute throw shall be attempted by the same free thrower under the same conditions as for the free throw for which it is substituted. 3. If there is a simultaneous violation by each team, the ball becomes dead and no point can be scored. Remaining free throws are administered or play is resumed by the team entitled to the alternating possession throw-in in one of the following ways. A. If the free thrower's team retains possession, the throw-in will be at one of the 4 designated spots nearest the simultaneous violation. B. If the opponent gains possession, the throw-in will be at the spot nearest the simultaneous violation. 4. If there is a violation, first by the free thrower's opponent, followed by the free thrower or a teammate. A. If both offenders are in marked lane spaces, the second violation is ignored, as in penalty item 2. B. If the second violation is by the free thrower or a teammate behind the free throw line extended and or the three-point line, both violations are penalized, as in penalty item 3. C. If a violation by the free thrower follows distraction by an opponent, a substitute free throw shall be awarded. D. If a fake by an opponent causes the free thrower or a teammate of the free thrower to violate, only the fake is penalized. Section 2. Throw-in provisions. Article 1. The thrower shall not leave the designated throw-in spot until the ball has been released on a throw-in pass. Article 2. The ball shall be passed by the thrower directly into the court from out of bounds, so it touches or is touched by another player in bounds or out of bounds on the court before going out of bounds untouched. Article 3. The thrown ball shall not be touched by a teammate of the thrower while the ball is on the out-of-bounds side of the throw-in boundary line plane, except as in Rule 757. Article 4. Once the throw-in starts, the ball shall be released on a pass directly into the court before 5 seconds have elapsed. Article 5. The thrower shall not carry the ball onto the court. Article 6. The thrown ball shall not touch the thrower in the court before it touches or is touched by another player. Article 7. The thrown ball shall not enter the basket before it touches or is touched by another player. Article 8. The thrown ball shall not become lodged between the backboard and ring or come to rest on the flange before it touches or is touched by another player. Article 9. The thrower shall not be replaced by a teammate after the ball is at the thrower's disposal, except as in Rule 757. Article 10. The opponents of the thrower shall not have any body part through the inbound side of the throw-in boundary line plane until the ball has been released on a throw-in pass. Note, the thrower may penetrate the plane provided the thrower does not touch the inbounds area or a player inbounds before the ball is released on a throw-in pass. The opponent in this situation may legally touch or grasp the ball. Penalties, Article 10. 1. The first violation of the throw-in boundary line plane by an opponent of the thrower shall result in a team warning for delay being given, 1 delay warning per team per game. The warning does not result in the loss of the opportunity to move along the end line when and if applicable. 2. The second or additional violations will result in a technical foul assessed to the offending team. If an opponent reaches through the throw-in boundary line plane and touches or dislodges the ball while in possession of the thrower or being passed to a teammate outside the boundary line, as in Rule 757, a technical foul shall be charged to the offender. No warning for delay required. 4. If an opponent contacts the thrower, an intentional personal foul shall be charged to the offender. No warning for delay required. Article 11. No teammate of the thrower shall be out of bounds after a designated throw-in spot begins. Penalty, Section 2. The ball becomes dead when the violation or technical foul occurs. Following a violation, the ball is awarded to the opponents for a throw-in at the original throw-in spot. Section 3. Out of bounds. Article 1. A player shall not cause the ball to go out of bounds. Note, the dribbler has committed a violation if the dribbler steps on or outside a boundary even though the dribbler is not touching the ball while the dribbler is out of bounds. Article 2. A player shall not be out of bounds when a player touches or is touched by the ball after it has been released on a throw-in pass. Article 3. A player shall not step out of bounds under the player's own volition and then become the first player to touch the ball after returning to the playing court or to avoid a violation. Penalty, Section 3. The ball is dead when the violation occurs and is awarded to the opponents for a throw-in from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. Section 4. Travel, kick, fist, ball enters basket from below. A player shall not travel with the ball, as in Rule 444, intentionally kick it, as in Rule 429, strike it with the fist, or cause it to enter and pass through the basket from below. Note, kicking the ball is a violation only when it is an intentional act. Accidentally striking the ball with the foot or leg is not a violation. Penalties. The ball is dead when the violation occurs. 1. When the opponent is awarded possession in their front court, the throw-in will be at one of the 4 designated spots nearest the violation. 2. When the opponent is awarded possession in their back court, the throw-in will be from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. Section 5. Illegal dribble. A player shall not dribble a second time after the player's first dribble has ended unless it is after the player has lost control because of Article 1, a try for field goal, Article 2, a touch by an opponent, Article 3, a pass or fumble which has then touched or been touched by another player. Penalties, Section 5. The ball is dead when the violation occurs. 1. When the opponent is awarded possession in their front court, the throw-in will be at one of the 4 designated spots nearest the violation. 2. When the opponent is awarded possession in their back court, the throw-in will be from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. Section 6. Jump ball. A player shall not violate any provision of the jump ball. If both teams simultaneously commit violations during the jump ball, or if the official makes a bad toss, the toss shall be repeated. Penalties. The ball is dead when the violation occurs. 1. When the opponent is awarded possession in their front court, the throw-in will be at one of the 4 designated spots nearest the violation. 2. When the opponent is awarded possession in their back court, the throw-in will be from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. Section 7. 3 seconds. Article 1. A player shall not remain for 3 seconds in that part of the player's free throw lane between the end line and the farther edge of the free throw line while the ball is in control of the player's team in the team's front court. Article 2. The 3-second restriction applies to a player who has only 1 foot touching the lane boundary. The line is part of the lane. All lines designating the free throw lane, but not lane space marks, are part of the lane. Article 3. Allowance shall be made for a player who, having been in the restricted area for less than 3 seconds, dribbles in or moves immediately to try for field goal. Penalty, Section 7. The ball is dead when the violation occurs and is awarded to the opponents for a throw-in from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. Section 8. 10 seconds. A player shall not be, nor may the player's team be, in continuous control of the ball which is in the team's backcourt for 10 seconds. Penalty. The ball is dead when the violation occurs. The opponent is awarded a possession throw-in in its front court at one of the 4 designated spots nearest the violation. Section 9. Backcourt. Article 1. A player shall not be the first to touch the ball after it has been in team control in the front court if the player or a teammate last touched or was touched by the ball in the front court before it went to the backcourt. Exception. A ball in control of Team A in the front court that is deflected by a defensive player which causes the ball to go into the backcourt may be recovered by either team unless the offense was the last to touch the ball before it went into the backcourt. If the offense was last to touch the ball in its front court, only the defense can legally recover the basketball. Article 2. While in player and team control in its backcourt, a player shall not cause the ball to go from backcourt to front court and return to backcourt without the ball touching a player in the front court, such that the player or a teammate is the first to touch it in the backcourt. Article 3. During a jump ball, throw-in, or while on defense, a player may legally jump from the player's front court, secure control with the ball with both feet off the floor, and return to the floor with one or both feet in the backcourt. The player may make a normal landing, and it makes no difference whether the first foot down is in the front court or backcourt. Penalty, Section 9. The ball is dead when the violation occurs. The opponent is awarded a possession throw-in in its front court at one of the 4 designated spots nearest the violation. Section 10. Closely guarded. Article 1. A player shall not, while closely guarded, A. in the team's front court, hold the ball for 5 seconds or dribble the ball for 5 seconds. B. In the team's front court, control the ball for 5 seconds in an area enclosed by screening teammates. Article 2. A closely guarded count shall not be started during an interrupted dribble. Article 3. A closely guarded count shall be terminated during an interrupted dribble. Penalty, Section 10. The ball is dead when the violation occurs and is awarded to the opponent for a throw-in from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. Section 11. Basket interference. A player shall not commit basket interference as in Rule 4.6. Section 12. Goaltending. A player shall not commit goaltending as in Rule 4.22. Penalties, Sections 11 and 12. If the violation is at the opponent's basket, the opponents are awarded 1 point if during a free throw, 3 points if during a 3-point try, and 2 points in any other case. See Rule 10.4.9 for additional penalty for goaltending during a free throw. The crediting of the score and subsequent procedure are the same as if the awarded score has resulted from the ball having gone into the basket, except that the official shall hand or bounce the ball to a player of the team entitled to the throw-in. 2. If the violation is at a team's own basket, no points can be scored, and the ball is awarded to the opponents for a throw-in from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. See Rule 10.4.9 for additional penalty for goaltending during a free throw. 3. If the violation results from touching the ball while it's in the basket after entering from below, no points are scored. A. If the defensive team commits the violation, the opponent is awarded a possession throw-in in its front court at one of the 4 designated spots nearest the violation. B. If the offensive team commits the violation, the opponent is awarded a possession throw-in in its backcourt from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. 4. If there is a violation by both teams, play shall be resumed by the team entitled to the alternating possession throw-in. A. If the offensive team retains possession, it is awarded a possession throw-in in its front court at one of the 4 designated spots nearest the violation. B. If the defensive team gains possession, it is awarded a possession throw-in in its backcourt from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. Section 13. Excessive swinging of arms and or elbows. Article 1. A player shall not excessively swing a player's own arms or elbows even without contacting an opponent. Article 2. A player may extend arms or elbows to hold the ball under the chin or against the body. Article 3. Action of arms and elbows resulting from total body movements as in pivoting or movement of the ball incidental to feinting with it, releasing it, or moving it to prevent a held ball or loss of control shall not be considered excessive. Penalties, Section 13. The ball is dead when the violation occurs. 1. When the opponent is awarded possession in the front court, the throw-in will be at one of the 4 designated spots nearest the violation. 2. When the opponent is awarded possession in its backcourt, the throw-in will be from the designated out-of-bounds spot nearest the violation. The ball is dead when the violation occurs. Rule 10. Fouls and Penalties. Section 1. Administrative Technical. A team shall not, Article 1, fail to supply the scorer with the name and number of each team member who may participate and designate the 5 starting players at least 10 minutes before the scheduled starting time. Penalty, Article 1. 1 foul for both requirements, penalized when it occurs. Article 2. After the 10-minute time limit specified in Article 1, A. Change a designated starter unless necessitated, as in Rule 3.2.2a. B. Add a name to the team member list. C. Require the scorer to change a team member's or player's number in the scorebook. D. Require a player to change to the number in the scorebook. E. Have identical numbers on team members and or players. Penalty, Article 2. 1 foul only per team, regardless of the number of infractions. Article 2a. Penalized if discovered before the ball becomes live to start the game. Articles 2b, c, and d. Penalized when they occur. Article 2e. Penalized when discovered. Head coach does not lose the privilege of the coaching box. Article 3. Use a megaphone or any electronic communication device or electronic equipment for voice communication with players on the court, or use electronic audio and or video devices to request a review of a decision of the contest officials. Article 4. Fail to occupy the team member's bench to which it is assigned. Penalty, Section 1. 2 free throws plus the ball for a division line throw-in. Articles 3 and 4, penalized when they occur. Section 2. Team Technical. Article 1. Allow the game to develop into an actionless contest. This includes the following and similar acts. A. When the clock is not running, consuming a full minute through not being ready when it is time to start either half. B. Delay the game by preventing the ball from being made promptly live or from being put into play. See Rules 7.5.1 and 8.1.2 for the resumption of play procedure to use after a timeout or in the intermission between quarters. The procedure is used prior to charging a technical foul in these specific situations. C. Commit a violation of the throw-in boundary line plane, as in Rule 9.2.10, after any team warning for delay. D. Contact with a free thrower or a huddle of 2 or more players in the lane by either team prior to a free throw following any team warning for delay. E. Interfering with the ball following a goal after any team warning for delay. F. Not having the court ready for a play following any timeout after any team warning for delay. Article 2. Have more than 5 team players participating simultaneously. Article 3. Request an excess timeout. Article 4. Commit an unsporting foul. Article 5. Fail to have all players return to the court at approximately the same time following a timeout or intermission. Article 6. Allow players to lock arms or grasp a teammate in an effort to restrict the movement of an opponent. Penalties, Section 2. 2 free throws plus the ball for a division line throw-in. Articles 1, 4, 5, and 6 penalized when they occur. Article 2, penalized if discovered while being violated. Article 3, penalized when discovered. Head coach does not lose the privilege of the coaching box. Section 3, substitute technical. A substitute shall not enter the court, Article 1, without reporting to the scorer. Article 2, without being beckoned by an official except between quarters and during timeouts. Penalty, Section 3, 2 free throws plus the ball for a division line throw-in, 1 foul for either or both requirements, penalized if discovered before the ball becomes live. Note, a single flagrant technical foul or the second technical foul charged to a substitute results in disqualification of the offender to the team bench. Section 4, player technical. A player shall not, Article 1, participate after changing the player's number without reporting it to the scorer and an official. Penalty, Article 1, flagrant foul, penalized if discovered while being violated. Article 2, purposely and or deceitfully delay returning after legally being out of bounds. Article 3, grasp either basket at any time during the game except to prevent injury, dunk or stuff, or attempt to dunk or stuff a dead ball. Article 4, illegally contacting the backboard or ring by A. placing a hand on the backboard or ring to gain an advantage, B. intentionally slapping or striking the backboard or causing the ring to vibrate while a try or tap for field goal is in flight, or is touching the backboard, or is in the basket or in the cylinder above the basket. Article 5, delay the game by acts such as A. preventing the ball from being made live promptly or from being put in play, B. failing, when in possession, to immediately pass the ball to the nearer official when a whistle sounds, C. the free thrower fails to be in the free throw semicircle when the official is ready to administer the free throw unless the resumption of play procedure is in effect following a timeout or intermission. D. repeated violations of the throw-in as in Rule 9.2.10. Article 6. Commit an unsporting foul. This includes, but is not limited to, acts or conduct such as A. disrespectfully addressing or contacting an official or gesturing in such a manner as to indicate resentment. B. using profane or inappropriate language or obscene gestures. C. baiting or taunting an opponent. Note, the NFHS disapproves of any form of taunting which is intended or designed to embarrass, ridicule, or demean others under any circumstances, including on the basis of race, religion, gender, or national origin. D. purposely obstructing an opponent's vision by waving or placing hands near an opponent's eyes. Note, purposely diverting an opponent's attention by waving is different than holding or waving the hands near the opponent's eyes for the express purpose of obstructing the vision so that the opponent cannot see. E. climbing on or lifting a teammate to secure a greater height. F. faking being fouled, knowingly attempting a free throw or accepting a foul to which the player was not entitled. G. using alcohol or any form of tobacco product, e-cigarette or similar items, beginning with arrival at the competition site until departure following the completion of the contest. H. removing the jersey and or pants or skirt within the visual confines of the playing area. I. leaving the playing court for an unauthorized reason to demonstrate resentment, disgust, or intimidation. Article 7. intentionally or flagrantly contacting an opponent when the ball is dead and such contact is not a personal foul. Article 8. be charged with fighting. Penalty, Article 8, flagrant foul. Article 9. commit goaltending during a free throw. Article 10. reach through the throw-in boundary line plane and touch or dislodge the ball as in Rule 9.2, Penalty 3. Penalty, Section 4. 2 free throws plus the ball for a division line throw-in. Note, a single flagrant technical foul or the second technical foul charged to a player results in disqualification of the offender to the team bench. Section 5. Bench technical. The head coach is responsible for personal conduct and behavior, as well as substitutes, disqualified team members, and all other bench personnel. Bench personnel, including the head coach, shall not, Article 1, commit an unsporting foul. This includes, but is not limited to, acts such as A. disrespectfully addressing an official, B. attempting to influence an official's decision, C. using profane or inappropriate language or obscene gestures, D. disrespectfully addressing, baiting, or taunting an opponent. Note, The NFHS disapproves of any form of taunting which is intended or designed to embarrass, ridicule, or demean others under any circumstances, including on the basis of race, religion, gender, or national origin. E. Objecting to an official's decision by rising from the bench or using gestures. F. Inciting undesirable crowd reactions. G. Being charged with fighting. H. Removing the jersey and or pants or skirt within the visual confines of the playing area. I. Grasping either basket except to prevent injury, dunking or attempting to dunk or stuff a dead ball. Article 2. Enter the court unless by permission of an official to attend an injured player. Article 3. Use alcohol or any form of tobacco product, e-cigarette or similar items, beginning with arrival at the competition site until departure following the completion of the contest. Article 4. Stand at the team bench while the clock is running or is stopped and shall remain seated except A. The head coach, as in Rule 10.6.1. B. When a team member is reporting to the scorer's table. C. During a charged timeout, as in Rule 5.11, or the intermission between quarters and extra periods. D. To spontaneously react to an outstanding play by a team member or to acknowledge a replaced player, but shall immediately return to their seats. Penalty, Articles 1A, B, D, E, F, 2, and 4. The officials may warn the head coach unless the offense is judged to be major, in which case a technical foul shall be ruled. Articles 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 free throws plus the ball for a division line throw-in. If the head coach is the offender, the foul is charged directly to the head coach. The foul is charged to the offender if not the head coach, and also charged indirectly to the head coach. Article 1G, flagrant foul. The offender is disqualified. If the offender is bench personnel, each foul is also charged indirectly to the head coach. Article 5, leave the confines of the bench during a fight or when a fight may occur. Exception. The head coach and any number of assistant coaches may enter the court in the situation where a fight may break out or has broken out to prevent the situation from escalating. Penalty, Article 5, flagrant foul. Disqualification of individual offender, but only one technical foul penalty is administered regardless of the number of offenders. This one foul is also charged indirectly to the head coach. If the head coach is an offender, an additional flagrant technical foul is charged directly to the head coach and penalized. When a simultaneous technical foul by opponents occurs, the free throws are not awarded when the penalties offset. Note, a single flagrant foul or the second technical foul charged to any bench personnel other than the head coach results in disqualification of the offender. A single flagrant foul, the second direct technical foul, or the third technical, any combination of direct or indirect, charged to the head coach results in disqualification and ejection. Ejected adult bench personnel shall leave the vicinity, out of sight and sound of the playing area immediately, and are prohibited from any further contact, direct or indirect, with the team during the remainder of the game. Failure to comply with the rules of ejection may result in the game being forfeited. Section 6. Head Coach's Rule. Article 1. The head coach shall remain seated on the team bench except A. By state association adoption, the head coach may stand within the designated coaching box described in Rule 1.13.2. The first technical foul charged directly or indirectly to the head coach results in loss of coaching box privileges, and the head coach shall remain seated for the remainder of the game, except as stated below in Rule 10.6.1b, c, d, and e. B. The head coach may stand within the coaching box to request a timeout or signal players to request a timeout. C. The head coach may stand and or leave the coaching box to confer with personnel at the scorer's table to request a timeout as in Rule 5.8.4. D. The head coach may stand within the coaching box to replace or remove a disqualified or injured player or player directed to leave the game. E. The head coach may stand as in Rule 10.5.4c and D. Exception. The head coach and any number of assistant coaches may enter the court in the situation where a fight may break out or has broken out to prevent the situation from escalating. Article 2. The head coach shall replace or remove a disqualified or injured player or player directed to leave the game within 15 seconds when a substitute is available. Article 3. The head coach shall not permit a team member to participate after being removed from the game for disqualification. Article 4. The head coach shall not permit a team member to participate while wearing an illegal uniform. Article 5. The head coach shall not permit team members to leave the bench area and or playing court for any unauthorized reason. Penalty, Article 1. The official may warn the head coach unless the offense is judged to be major, in which case a technical foul shall be ruled. Section 6. 2 free throws plus the ball for a division line throw-in. The foul is charged directly to the head coach. Articles 3 and 5. Penalized if discovered while being violated. Article 4. Penalized when discovered. Articles 4 and 5. Only one technical foul is charged regardless of the number of offenders. Note: a single flagrant foul, the second direct technical foul, or the third technical, any combination of direct or indirect, charged to the head coach, results in disqualification and ejection. Ejected adult bench personnel shall leave the vicinity, out of sight and sound, of the playing area immediately, and are prohibited from any further contact, direct or indirect, with the team during the remainder of the game. Failure to comply with the rules of ejection may result in the game being forfeited. Section 7. Contact. Article 1. A player shall not hold, push, charge, trip, or impede the progress of an opponent by extending arms, shoulders, hips, or knees, or by bending the body into other than a normal position, nor use any rough tactics. Article 2. A player shall not contact an opponent with the hand unless such contact is only with the opponent's hand while it is on the ball and is incidental to an attempt to play the ball. Article 3. A player shall not use the hands on an opponent in any way that inhibits the freedom of movement of the opponent or acts as an aid to a player in starting or stopping. Article 4. A player shall not extend the arms fully or partially, other than vertically, so that freedom of movement of an opponent is hindered when contact with the arms occurs. A player may hold the hands and arms in front of the player's own face or body for protection and to absorb force from an imminent charge by an opponent. Article 5. A player shall not use the forearm and or hand to prevent an opponent from attacking the ball during a dribble or when throwing for goal. Article 6. Contact caused by a defensive player who approaches from behind is pushing. Contact caused by the momentum of a player who has thrown for a goal is charging. Article 7. A dribbler shall neither charge into nor contact an opponent in the dribbler's path, nor attempt to dribble between two opponents or between an opponent and a boundary, unless the space is such as to provide a reasonable chance for the dribbler to go through without contact. Article 8. When a dribbler, without contact, sufficiently passes an opponent to have head and shoulders in advance of that opponent, the greater responsibility for subsequent contact is on the opponent. Article 9. When a dribbler is moving in a straight line path, the dribbler may not be crowded out of that path, but if an opponent is able to legally obtain a defensive position in that path, the dribbler shall avoid contact by changing direction or ending the dribble. Article 10. The dribbler is not permitted additional rights in executing a jump try for field goal, pivoting, feinting, or in beginning a dribble. Article 11. A player shall adhere to the rules pertaining to illegal contact, including, but not limited to, guarding, as in Rule 423, rebounding, as in Rule 437, screening, as in Rule 440, and verticality, as in Rule 445. Article 12. The following acts constitute a foul when committed against a ball handler or dribbler. A player becomes a ball handler when that player receives the ball. This would include a player in a post position. A. Placing two hands on the player. B. Placing an extended arm bar on the player. C. Placing and keeping a hand on the player. D. Contacting the player more than once with the same hand or alternating hands. Penalty, Section 7. Offender is charged with one foul, and if it is the player's fifth foul, personal and technical, or if it is flagrant, the player is disqualified. Rule 10 Penalties Summary. 1. No free throws. A. For each common foul before the bonus rule is in effect. B. For a player control or team control foul. C. For double personal or technical fouls. Point of interruption. D. For simultaneous personal or simultaneous technical fouls by opponents. Point of interruption. E. After time has expired for the fourth quarter or extra period unless the points would affect the outcome of the game. Note: if one or both fouls of a double foul are flagrant, no free throws are awarded. Any player who commits a flagrant foul is disqualified. 2. One free throw if fouled in the act of shooting and 2-point or 3-point try or tap for field goal is successful. 3. Bonus free throws. 2 free throws beginning with fifth team foul of each quarter. 4. 2 free throws if intentional or flagrant plus ball for throw-in. 5. fouled in active shooting and try or tap for field goal is unsuccessful. A. 2 free throws on 2-point try or tap for a field goal. B. 3 free throws on 3-point try or tap for field goal, plus ball for throw-in if intentional or flagrant. 6. Multiple foul. A. 1 free throw for each foul. 1. No try involved. 2. Successful or unsuccessful 2-point try or tap for field goal. 3. Successful 3-point try or tap for field goal. B. 2 free throws for each foul. 1. Intentional or flagrant foul. 2. Unsuccessful 3-point try or tap for field goal, plus ball for throw-in if intentional or flagrant. Note, if one or both fouls of a multiple foul are flagrant, 2 free throws are awarded for each flagrant foul. Any player who commits a flagrant foul is disqualified. 7. In case of a false double foul or a false multiple foul, each foul carries its own penalty. 8. Fighting. A. Players on the court. 1. Corresponding number from each team. Double flagrant fouls. All participants are disqualified. No free throws are awarded. Ball is put in play at the point of interruption. 2. Numbers of participants are not corresponding. Flagrant fouls and disqualification for all participants. 2 free throws are awarded for the offended team for each additional player. Offended team awarded a division line throw-in. B. Bench personnel leaving the team bench during a fight or when a fight may break out. 1. Do not participate in the fight. Non-participants are assessed flagrant fouls and disqualified. The head coach is assessed a maximum of 1 indirect technical foul regardless of the number leaving the bench. If the number leaving the bench for each team is corresponding, no free throws are awarded, and the ball is put in play at the point of interruption. If the number leaving the bench for each team is unequal, a maximum of 2 free throws are awarded the offended team, followed by a division line throw-in opposite the table. 2. Participate in the fight. All participants are assessed flagrant fouls and disqualified. The head coach is assessed 1 indirect technical foul for each person leaving the bench and participating in the fight. If the number leaving the bench for each team is corresponding, no free throws are awarded and the ball is put in play at the point of interruption. If the number leaving the bench for each team is unequal, 2 free throws are awarded the offended team for each additional person leaving the bench, followed by a division line throw-in opposite the table. Note, all fouls, except an indirect technical foul charged to the head coach, count toward the team's foul count in the half. Shot clock. State Association adoption. In accordance with Rule 214, each state association may adopt a procedure by which it implements a 35-second shot clock effective with the 2023-24 season. The following recommended guidelines are for those states choosing to adopt the shot clock. Shot clock displays. 1. A shot clock is one of 2 official visible timepieces, one at each end of the court. 2. Shot clocks should be recessed and mounted on the backboard supports behind each backboard. 3. An alternate timing device or procedure shall be available when a visible shot clock malfunctions. 4. LED lights located around the shot clock may be used, but the lights shall only be activated for a shot clock violation. 5. Nothing shall be attached to the shot clock mounting mechanisms that affects the visibility of the shot clock. Game and table officials. A shot clock operator will be located at the scorers and timers table. It is recommended that the timer and shot clock operator be seated next to each other. Officials' general duties. 1. Use the shot clock to administer the 10-second backcourt count. The 10-second count shall begin when the ball touches or is legally touched by a player on the court, in the backcourt, on a throw-in, or on player control on a rebound or jump ball. The official shall use a silent, visible 10-second count where there is no shot clock visible. 2. To indicate a shot clock violation, the official will give the stop clock signal, followed by the tapping of the head, and give a directional signal. 3. To indicate a shot clock reset, the official will use a rolling motion of a pointed index finger above the head. The shot clock operator shall 1. Use a 35-second shot clock in accordance with Rule 214. 2. Use the shot clock the entire game, including extra periods, except when there is less time remaining on the game clock than on the shot clock. In this case, the shot clock shall be turned off. 3. Control a separate timing device with a horn that shall have a distinct sound different from the game clock horn. 4. Have an alternate timing device or procedure available in the case of failure or lack of availability of the electronic clocks. 5. Start the shot clock when A. The ball touches or is legally touched by a player on the court. B. A team gains initial control after a jump ball or unsuccessful try for goal. C. There is a change in team control. 6. Stop the timing device and reset to full amount. A. When there is a change in team control and the ball remains live or after a score by the opponent. Note, the mere touching of the ball by an opponent does not start a new shot clock period when the same team remains in control of the ball. B. When any of the following occurs. 1. A single personal foul. 2. A single technical foul. 3. During team control, a defensive player causes a held ball and the alternating possession arrow favors the defensive team. 4. A try for goal strikes the ring or flange and then control is gained by either team. 5. A violation. 6. A held ball or any other situation where the alternating possession arrow is used to determine team possession and the alternating possession arrow favors the defense for the throw-in. 7. After the ball goes out of bounds and was last touched simultaneously by two opponents, both of whom are either in bounds or out of bounds, or when there is doubt as to who last touched the ball and the possession arrow favors the defensive team. 8. There is an inadvertent whistle and there was no player or team control at the time of the whistle. 7. Stop the timing device and continue time without a reset when play is stopped under the following circumstances. A. The ball is deflected out of bounds by a defensive player. B. A player is injured or loses a contact lens. C. A charged timeout has concluded. D. During team control as defined in Rule 4.12.1, a defensive player causes a held ball and the alternating possession arrow favors the offensive team. E. After any double personal or technical fouls or simultaneous personal or technical fouls when there is team control unless the penalty for the foul results in a change of possession. F. After an inadvertent whistle when there is team control. G. After a held ball occurs during a throw-in and the alternating possession arrow favors the team that made the throw-in. H. When a held ball occurs after an unsuccessful try that does not contact the ring or flange and the alternating possession arrow favors the shooting team. I. After the ball goes out of bounds and was last touched simultaneously by two opponents, both of whom are either in bounds or out of bounds, or when there is doubt as to who last touched the ball and the alternating possession arrow favors the offensive team. Note, the offensive team, upon regaining possession of the ball for the throw-in, shall have the unexpired time on the shot clock to attempt a try. 8. State associations may determine if there are instances when the clock is reset not to the full 35 seconds. 9. Sound the shot clock horn at the expiration of the shot clock period. This shot clock horn shall not stop play unless recognized by an official's whistle. When the shot clock indicates zeros, the shot clock time has expired. 10. Turn off the shot clock when a reset situation occurs and the game clock shows less time than that of a shot clock period. 11. Allow the timing device to continue during loose ball situations when the offense retains control or when a field goal try is attempted at the wrong basket or when a field goal try has failed to hit the rim or flange. 12. Allow the game officials to make the final decision when there is doubt as to whether a score was made within the shot clock period or whether a try for goal contacted the ring or flange. Timing errors. 1. The officials shall make the final decision when there is doubt as to whether a score was made within the shot clock period or whether a try for goal contacted the ring or flange. 2. When an obvious mistake by the shot clock operator has occurred, failing to start, stop, set, or reset the shot clock, or when a shot clock has malfunctioned, the mistake or the result of the malfunction may be corrected during the shot clock period in which it occurred and only when the official has definite information relative to the mistake or malfunction and the time involved. Shot clock violation. 1. A shot clock period begins when the ball touches or is legally touched by a player on the court on a throw-in or when team control is established or re-established after loss of team control and the shot clock is properly started. The shot clock period ends when the shot clock is properly started for the next shot clock period. 2. A try for goal during the shot clock period is defined as the ball having left the shooter's hands before the sounding of the shot clock horn and then striking the ring or flange or entering the basket. 3. The team in control must attempt a try for field goal within the 35-second shot clock period. 4. It is a violation when a try for field goal does not leave the shooter's hands before the expiration of the shot clock period, as indicated by the sounding of the shot clock horn, or when it does leave the shooter's hands before the expiration of the shot clock period, and the try does not subsequently strike the ring or flange or enter the basket.